3, 2, 1, go. Yep, we're live. Hello, everyone. It is 10 to 9, take 2. I just did click live and it was on the wrong link. So my apologies for that one. We're live tonight. It is Sunday night, about 8:45. I'm here with allegedly Dave, John Smith Globalist, and Richie Lopez from the States. We're going to be having a discussion about the biggest lie ever told, who, what, and where. Yeah, we just probably went through about 10 minutes of what I thought was a live. And then I'm looking in the chat room and I'm still waiting for Roxanne. So yeah, not the greatest start. But yeah, I'll start from left to right. And yeah, Dave, thank you so much for being here with us. You're on the road, so your Wi-Fi is not as solid as maybe other people's might be. So gratitude for the amount of time we've had with you already. I'm hoping it lasts for a bit longer. What's just happened. Oh my gosh.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
Mm-hmm. And Harry, cheers for being with us. You're getting ready for the UK Globalist tour. So I know you've got a lot on your plate already, but thank you very much for being here with us this evening.
Yeah, thanks very much for inviting me. I'll just stay on for a wee while. Yeah, getting excited about the tour with Jason Disbury. And of course, Roxanne and Dave Mantle involved in that team. So we're all very excited. Starting in a few days. Thursday, yeah.
And we've also got one of FE Offensive's finest in the room tonight. We've got Richie Lopez from FE Offensive with us from across the pond over in the States. Thank you, Richie, for being with us tonight, man. Massive love and respect to you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. So, as I said, we're going to be talking about the biggest lie ever told, right? Who, what, and where. Right, we're going to be going into a few bits and pieces tonight, why it's important to talk about these things in public as well. Just having a public conversation like this with a few people that are across the international flat plane of existence, and having it in public for you so that you might be able to take something away from this conversation that might expand your consciousness or get you on a tangent so that you can grow as an individual, ascend a little bit more as an individual, and have a healthier, happier life as a result of it. So, yeah, Dave, where are we?
Yeah, this is like a deja vu now. Well, we were saying that you know, flat Earth was the biggest lie of all, biggest lie ever told. But you know, as I said while I was going through recording that video, I found that there was an even bigger question to ask: is who are we? So yeah, where are we is very important, but who we are is even more important. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping we can get to talk about later on.
So what about you, Harry? Where do you reckon we are?
Well, I'm surrounded by a lot of people who will tell me where I am, whether that be authority or other people who have ideas and models. But if I'm being truly honest with myself, I have to say I don't know where I am. But I would like to find out, but I think I have to be honest with myself and say I don't know.
What about you, Richie?
I'm right there with John and Dave. There's a lot of theories about what this place actually is. One thing I am sure of is it's not what they told us. That's what I know before. It's not what you know, people say, "Oh, where's the edge? Where's the edge? Why does it have to be an edge?" You know, and everywhere you go is water. You know, so you know, why does it have to be an edge?
It could be contained. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
Yeah. Can I put it out and ask Richard and Dave? Although we think there's a bigger lie about who we are and where we're from, but do you think this is a good step to finding that out once we realise we're not from where we're being told we are, and we find out where it is? Do you think that's a good step to finding out where we came from and who we are?
I think it's the necessary step. You know, you know, if any of you have been in the let's say truth-seeking business for any length of time, you should have found that essentially every everything is a conspiracy. You know, this, I keep hearing people say, oh no, it can't all be a conspiracy. No, yeah, actually it is. You know, it's like we live in Disneyland, and you know, everything has been produced for our benefit. You know, everything looks just so, and we can assume that everything, you know, came about by accident, by natural progression. But as soon as you scratch the surface on anything in this society, it's not what you think it is. So I've been progressing over the last 15 years, you know, through various different topics, not because I've wanted to, as most people know who get into this. You start off with one thing that you wake up to, and you end up being led to something else, and you investigate that, and it leads you to something else. The best scavenger hunt ever, and so you end up going through and breaking down some of the barriers to essentially believing that you've been lied to, you know, because, you know, when you come into this early on, I mean, you know, you might come across 9/11 and go, wow, you know, the American government, they set this thing up. Wow, the American government lying to their people. Wow, how amazing is that? Doubt that the whole monetary system is fraudulent. So the whole monetary system around the world is fraudulent, and it's set up by the same people. You know? And so you go through shock after shock after shock after shock. So I think that the flat Earth was the necessary step, the last straw, as it were, to showing you not only the extent of you know, to which you're being lied to, but the pointer to the even bigger truth. So that's it.
Yeah, a doorway.
Yeah, I mean, a direct doorway. You know, 9/11 doesn't lead you to this. You know, urine therapy doesn't lead you to this. But you know, I know lots of people come into flat Earth, you know, fresh. You know, go from Muggle to flat Earth. I mean, that must be a big, huge jolt. But this is the gateway. I mean, you know, it seems there's nothing bigger than you know, where we are. But you know what? Who you are is even bigger, and this is the doorway to finding out who that is.
Well, it's certainly the first step to bigger questions, isn't it? Okay, if we're not where we're supposed to be, then where are we and who are we and where do we come from? Comes as a logical next step.
And why are we here? I mean, that also, that's something I've just recently come across, actually. You know, this again, one of my studies, Sabbath studies. I literally came across this 70 verses in a book called Second Esdras, which comes from the Apocrypha, and there was these 70 verses that were missing out of my King James. What somebody was reading out to me didn't match up with what I was reading in my book, and I was like, what's going on? And literally, not only was the book hidden, taken out of the Bible so that you couldn't find it, but out of that book, like half a dozen verses were replaced with gibberish, and then 70 verses were taken out, and those 70 verses contain essentially the reason why we're here and what's going to happen after we leave here.
Yeah. Did you see the film Solid Green?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why did you bring that one up? Is that do you think that's more relevant?
Well, when you ask why are we here? Yeah, I mean, could we be part of a bigger food chain or something like that? I don't know. Are we being used for something we can't really comprehend, or some experiment? Something.
Well, it was kind of different for me because Jason, what's going on, buddy?
Hiya, you all right?
Well,
Yeah, Jason of the Disbury family to the panel this evening. Jason, have you had a chance to listen before you chimed in?
No, I didn't. I literally just got in and rushed to turn on quickly. So I'm
cool. We'll bring you up to speed. Yeah, no worries. We'll bring you up to speed. So we'll carry on as we were before.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll pick it up.
Go for it.
Yeah, that's a very big question. I mean, why are we here? What purpose are we serving? Or who are we serving?
Right. And it's kind of like that question we always had when we, that's the kind of question I always had, growing up. Why are we here? Like, what am I doing here? And we've been, our true nature to reality has been hidden from us.
Yeah.
I don't know about everyone else, but when I woke up, I found out to this deception, the flat earth, I had to start back from from square one. I mean, I didn't trust anything. I questioned every belief I had.
Yeah.
Every belief I had, I was, I'm not a religious person at all. I stopped dealing with religions at 18 years old. But for some reason, I was holding on to certain parts of a religion and saying, oh, I'm not into religions. I don't subscribe to religion, but I subscribe to this aspect. But, I was in and out and I was lost. I've been lost. So I'm not going to get out of one religion to go back into another one. So I had to start from scratch. And when I woke up to this deception, I was using the Bible a lot. But my question was over, like, wow, well, even in the Bible, it says, let every man be a liar. I mean, trust and let God be real. You know what I mean? So there's so many conflicting stories. And so I just had to go back to square one. I just wanted to have a relationship with my creator.
Yeah.
And start from there. And then start from there and then kind of go downwards.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. A while ago, I picked up a Bible. I started reading it and all. This is before Flat Earth came into my life, and I started reading, and I felt as though I was kind of buying into what was being said. But don't forget, this Bible was written by man, so I don't know what's right and what's wrong and that. And since Flat Earth, I'm the same as you, Richard. I've questioned everything now, and for me, I still maintain that I'm an agnostic. I still maintain that, up to a point, because I kind of feel that, yes, there has to be some sort of creator. I don't believe in something from nothing. There has to be some sort of creator, but I still don't know. I don't know either way. I still don't know 100%. So I feel like that. I've always been sat on the fence for a long time now, and I still feel as though I'm still there because I don't know. And I think we're all searching for these answers. And the other thing is to bring forward is, what is my purpose?
That's a great place to be, Jason, because I always think when people say they don't know, or your brain is immediately into a state of inquiry, to questioning. But if you say and there's a conclusion, I really think there's no inquiry there, or you're not really exploring other options or possibilities, because there's a lid on inquiry, because there's a conclusion there. But I think if we're honest with ourselves and say we really don't know, it may be this, it may be that, but we really don't know, do we? If everyone's been really that honest with themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
I look at the Bible, I know this is going to probably offend a lot of people, but, I'm at this point being political. We're past the stage of being politically correct. I view the Bible as, I make it known, I put it in my videos, as truth, lies, and mysteries. That's it. I believe that there's a lot of truth in the Bible, and I also believe there's a lot of lies and control mechanisms, religious aspects to control large amounts of people.
Yeah.
And that's just my honest opinion, and that's just my opinion.
I think a lot of it was set up in you look at the UK history, where there didn't used to be a police force, and during the medieval times, the kings and the queens thought, how do we control all these little outcrops and villages and towns? We'll put a church in every village and every outhouse.
Stir them.
We'll use that as a mechanism of social control, be a good citizen or you go to hell.
Yeah.
So religion and church in this country anyway, what was originally used as a mechanism of social control. Whether there was any truth in it or whether there's not, I'm just saying that that's how they controlled society, through the fear of God and damnation and going to heaven and earth. So be a good citizen and trust in authority and do what your king tells you. And that has extended even to modern.
Exactly.
Trust in authority.
Yes, exactly. And I think Dave had a good point, because I learned a lot from watching his video. Human history. I think that's
in the Bible.
Yes, human history of the Bible. Great. If you haven't watched it, watch it. Great stuff. I learned a lot, because you kind of have to go back to the Bible. The Bible is one of the oldest history books that we actually have. So you come to find out that the first king of England, what the Bible, King James, was actually a black man. So the first thing I did was I Googled up King James, and it was a whole bunch of pictures of a white King James. Come to find out, that's not the case at all. That people of color were actually in Europe first, or at least to as long as we know. And it's proof. There's proof that they changed the history on purpose. I'll just give it up to Dave with that. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's that. Well, he wasn't the first king, but as far as you go back from that Stuart dynasty, they were black kings, and it was I think King James's grandson, Charles II, who was the last of that line, and it was replaced by an Ashkenazi Germanic line, which is still on the throne today. So yes, this. I came into it. I came into the Bible after being an atheist for 40 years. I did not want anything to do with the Bible or any other religion. At the age of 13, I concluded that they were all control mechanisms and anything to do with them. But over the course of this truth seeking, essentially, the Bible presented itself to me 3 times, and whenever stuff presents itself to me 3 times, I'm gonna have to look at it. So the first time, I believe it was somebody actually told me, King James was black, so that King James Bible was written or was authorized by a black guy. I was like, no, I've been to the National Portrait Gallery. He's not a black guy. And then I did a little research, and sure enough, the engravings of King James, definitely a black guy, and his wife, even more so. Anne of Denmark, his wife, was a black woman with an afro. Wow. It's crazy. Wow. So yeah, I actually got a PDF copy of the King James 1611 right there and then. Thinking that maybe I'll have a look at it because it'll have something in there, but I never actually read it. And the second time was when I was looking at urine therapy and marveling at the perfection of the human body, because the model they've got us under at the moment is that the body is evolving, so it's not perfect, and it's subject to mechanical wear and tear, and it's like a faulty machine. But once you look at urine therapy and a few other things, you realize that the human body is perfect. So somebody mentioned that urine therapy is in the Bible. So I looked, and sure enough, there it is in I believe it's in Proverbs 5:15, if I'm not mistaken. So there was the second point. I had to look at the Bible again. I still didn't read it until the flat Earth, and then I realized that this is a created place. And somebody said, "Oh, the Bible's a flat Earth book, don't you?" And I was like, "Is it?" So again, the third time I've gone to this book. Oh, I'm sure enough, it's a flat Earth book. So it was that third push that made me go, you know what, I'm going to read this book. I read it 3 times from front to back. And then it was enough for me to say, you know what, I'm going to have to research this, because there's a lot of stuff in here. And in that research, I guess the bottom fell out of my world, and a dome went over it, and I realized that this book, the only book that's been with humanity for the whole of recorded history, this one book, which actually is called the Book of Remembrance, is has all the answers. And again, I'm still not religious, because religions are the control mechanism, but this book is not a religious book. And as I said, it not only tells but why you're here and what's going to happen. So I'll shut up now.
Oh, very interesting stuff, man. Very interesting stuff, and it's fascinating.
Not Richard.
Well, it's fascinating because I'm learning a little more about myself. I remember growing up, my grandparents, we say, my grandma, I got Blackfoot Indian in me, and I'm Cherokee Indian in me, and I always remember that. So I always kept that in my mind. She said, "You have Blackfoot and Cherokee Indian," and then come to find out that the history, the real history of, there were Black people already in the United States, in this continent, before so-called Christopher Columbus and everybody came over here, and there were the Indians and different tribes of Indians, and it's just amazing that all our history, and that's why some of them wasn't enslaved. They couldn't enslave them. They couldn't enslave them. And it's very interesting. And then a lot of about, it's not even about race, because I believe that we all came with just I think you mentioned it before, Dave, like albino, we see that in life, I don't know. I think that we all came from the same thing, and that maybe there's dynamics of the Nephilim and what, I just don't know. It's just the stories. I don't know. Right.
Well, this is where I'm the information I've come into, that the Old Testament, so-called Old Testament, is a book of history. More than anything else, it's a book of history. And there's a couple of small lines in the book of Genesis, right, that I think are the most important lines pretty much in the book. And it's talking of when the angels came down and had decided to have sex with women and produce their own offspring. Now, it's only a couple of lines in Genesis, but in the books that are left out of the Bible, that's the book of Enoch and Jasher and Jubilees, it tells you much, so that you cannot misinterpret this event. And that is where an alien DNA was inserted into mankind. Now, so literally, it's nothing about albinos, because albinism is something else. It is an alien DNA that was inserted into humanity, and if you study these books, it tells you what the characteristics of this DNA were, and why. Why the Old Testament seems like it's a bloodthirsty book of kill everybody, kill the children, kill everything. A lot of people are aware of the Nephilim and the Nephilim giants, who the first generation were like 450 foot tall, but I think it's Enoch or Jasher tells you that there were other offspring, not just giants. And my contention is one of these offspring looks very much like the alien in that series of films, Alien. Yeah, the the long-headed creature, vicious, intelligent creature, bloodthirsty creature that that thing.
Yeah, the so-called Anunnaki, right.
Yeah, well, it's not Anunnaki. That's like the same stories being translated into a different language and given different names and stuff. But yeah, this alien with a long head and the vicious teeth and all this. I think H.R. Geiger didn't just come up with that by himself. There was some knowledge there, and they're just putting it in our face, because when you go back into the so-called human fossil record, you'll find these very long-headed skulls. Yeah, that and as they get closer to the present day, they get smaller and smaller and more human-like. And to this day, when you look at the skulls of the people in this ruling bloodline, I found a couple of pictures of the Rothschilds and a couple of others. You see that their heads are not the shape of a normal human. They're just slightly too long and pointed at the back, and not like the kind of rounded human skull that we're used to. So again, my contention is that this bloodline is still around. It's been diluted, but the ones who've tried to keep their genetics by marrying within their own bloodline, they still have the most of the characteristics of this Nephilim DNA. So yeah, that's pretty much where this this diversity in so-called humanity came from. It wasn't something natural; it was something that was introduced, and this bloodline is, as I said, still around today, and it's always been ruling this earth. When I say always, it's not always, but at least for the last 500 years. And when you really delve into it, you find that these people are the same ones who've pushed this ball earth lie. They've pushed the theory of evolution. They've pushed the Big Bang theory. They've pushed the whole whitewashing of history and the whole suppressing of the real history. They're behind all of it because, as I said, it's one bloodline carrying out an ancient hatred, and they're at war with another bloodline, and that other bloodline doesn't even know it's at war. So yeah, so I'm sorry, I've talked too much now.
No. That's the bloodline of Adam, right? Is that what you're saying?
Sorry, say again?
The bloodline from Adam?
Yes, there's the bloodline from Adam. And so there's a lot of people here that can trace their bloodline all the way back to Adam. But there are people here that trace their bloodline back to the fallen angels.
Dave, how can we take that as accurate, though? Going all the way back to somebody called Adam, who's apparently supposed to be the first person, which I never actually bought at the time, the story of Adam and Eve. But even the Book of Enoch in the Old Testament, I mean, how can we verify any of that is actually 100% accurate? And especially when a lot of it's handed down from word of mouth for hundreds of years before it's actually recorded in words. So I'm just a bit I'm quite sure there's a lot of truth in it, a lot of truth there, but I'm very skeptical about actually taking anything as fact from longer than 200-300 years ago. So for me, it's all second-hand information. It's all supposition because I can't verify it for myself. I relate it a little bit like NASA telling me they've discovered planets light years away. How on earth can the working man verify that? And I feel it's a wee bit the same. I'm not saying it's false or true, but I'm very skeptical of when people are telling me what happened many hundreds of years ago, because I can't verify any of that myself. But yet I'm surrounded by people who believe certain aspects from thousands of years ago and thousands of years in the future. And to me, I feel very comfortable with that. And I keep coming back to saying, well, I don't know for sure. I have a lot of information, I have even some evidence, but at the end of the day, I can't prove any of it.
Yeah, it's sort of like if you have a. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, David.
No, carry on.
No, it's like sort of like those those books you have in the background. We have a flood, and somebody comes around and picks up a book and say, "Oh, wow, this is interesting." Oh, okay. Well, we don't know how many books is out there. We don't know what's really going on, and I think that there's got to be some kind of truth in the time frame of that Bible, because what Dave made a point in one of his videos, they say in the Bible where Moses crossed the Red Sea, they literally, they went down, scuba divers went down at the Red Sea and found like chariots and found like, skeletons, like the story of, Moses, where,
Yeah, I take what you're saying, Richard, and that may be 100% correct. For me, I'm hearing that somebody went down and found something, and looking into Hitler's brain, that supposedly burnt outside his bunker. You took two Americans who fought for years to do a DNA test on that skull, which was held in a Russian museum. So this is all factual information, although secondhand information, until these two scientists went and got permission to do a DNA test on the skull. And they found out it wasn't even a male skull. It was a female skull, and it's far too old to be Eva Braun. So here's something that's presented as fact in history by certain people saying certain things about finding certain items, and then presenting it as fact. But I don't find any of that chariots that are found, or who found them, or where can I analyze them, or where can I do a DNA test on it? I can't do that. So therefore, like the Hitler story of the brain, I have to accept that as secondhand information. But how do I know it's true?
Right. Okay. Well, first of all, the difference there is that the official story is that none of this exists, and there's no proof. It's all a fairy tale. So the official story that we're being told is no, forget it. Okay. I was going to mention the Red Sea crossing as well. Now that was actually discovered by somebody who is not official. He was a novice. He was like a Bible hunter type thing, and he actually went to a place that I can't remember what led him there, but literally this place, yes, it had chariot wheels and horse and human skeletons down there. It also had a very, very strange land bridge, which was about, I think it slopes down to about 1,000 feet under the water, and it slopes back up. Whereas the rest of the Red Sea, that portion of the Red Sea, the Gulf of Aqaba, deep. Everywhere else it's a mile deep, but in this particular place, there's a land bridge across that. Yes, and that's where they found all these skeletons and what have you. I'm sorry, I'll just finish the place name. Now, this is one of the things that I started researching, because place names don't die. Even when they try and change them, the old name still hangs around. The name of the place is called Musa al-Muziina. Nuweiba al-Muziina, which is Arabic for the waters of Moses opening, or waters of Moses crossing. Yeah, it's there right in the place name. Okay, there's also two granite pillars that were erected by King Solomon, and somewhere in the Old Testament, which I can't remember, he mentions these pillars, and they're right there. They're still there today. You can go to the Leiden, it's Leiden Museum in Holland, and there's a papyrus called the Ipuwer Papyrus, and it is an account of the Exodus from the perspective of an ordinary Egyptian. There's a thing called a famine stele, which describes the 7 years of plenty and the 7 years of famine, and all the steps and all the there's like weight of corroborating evidence that event actually happened. So yes, I can go to a map and find this place, Nuweiba Beach, find its original name, and it tells you that's you know, that's a very valid piece of evidence. As I said, with all, you know, finding Noah's Ark, you know, the place is it was found exactly where the book said it should be, in a place called the Valley of the Eight, and it's exactly the dimensions of what the boat should be, and it's a boat that's literally 70 miles from the nearest body of water. So you know, I've gone through this. I started off with the same mindset as you. You know, again, I thought a book of fairy tales. But when I researched it, I found enough evidence.
I have to be clear, David. I'm not saying it's a fairy tale. I'm saying it could all be true, but then I can't verify any of that myself. So a lot of that is secondhand knowledge, and yeah, it may all be absolutely true, as you're saying. I'm not fighting against that. All I'm saying is that you know, I have to take on a lot of secondhand information and evidence, and evidence isn't quite proof, but there's a lot of strong evidence alluding to proof. But still, I have to be honest with myself and say, well, I can't really be 100% sure. You know, I have to be in a place of not knowing really. We can't
be 100% sure of anything in this world.
Well, I can be sure that this entity here is here and talking and is alive. I can be sure of that. I can be sure of myself.
Where's here?
That's the only thing we can be doing.
Where's here? You know?
Yeah, that's the question. Where's here?
Yeah, sitting on this couch.
This is a good discussion though, because you know we don't like once you wake up to like the biggest lie like this, like just. I mean, to most people, is the, you know, where we are about how, you know, they've been hiding our true nature to reality. And you're like, I'm like, I feel you. I understand where you're at, John. Like, wait a minute, I got to question everything. I don't take anything. I lost faith in everything but my family. You understand what I mean? Or purpose. I had to lose my faith in everything because all it was faith and a belief system.
Yeah.
One thing I always hear you say all the time, John, it's a belief. It's a belief. But I understand where Dave's coming from. There's a guy named Wise Up. He has a YouTube channel. I don't know if you guys know him. If you don't, please spend time to watch that because our archaeology is false. They told us that we came from monkeys and caves. That's not the case. We were using rebar, pouring concrete. There's evidence of that.
Yeah.
And we're smart.
Yeah.
You know, just like how we are today. You know what I mean? Like there's overwhelming evidence.
Like there isn't a dinosaur bone to be found. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. So So no one can say, oh, you know, there's no evidence of that. There's no evidence of dinosaurs. Right. Exactly. But there's archaeology showing they're using rebar. You know how big that is? Pouring concrete. And there's overwhelming evidence that they've just been hiding it and lying. Overwhelming evidence of giants. We find the bones. The Smithsonian purpose in hiding.
Yeah. And there's been anthropologists done for fraud for presenting false bones to museums because there's a lot of money to be made from museums and dinosaurs. So, yeah, so much history is fake and fraud. But there's so much out there that I have to say that. Yeah, a lot of it's credible and a lot of evidence, but I still stay in the position of I really don't know. And Dave, I respect the research he's put into it, and you know, a lot of people think he's on the button, and that's fine. And you know, I respect everything he's done, and it can all be true. But I'm just in a position of saying I don't know, because I haven't done that level of research that Dave's.
That's fair. That's fair.
I understand, and as I said, the thing is that this is like Disneyland. I said that before. It's like Disneyland. Yeah, they've presented us with this illusion, just like Disney does. You know, everything's beautiful, everything's right. Okay, but as soon as you dig deeper than the surface level, you find, you know, the whole lie breaks down. Okay, and such is the same with the Bible. You know, when I started breaking down the medical system, yeah, you know, before I did that, I actually believed that, you know, worked.
He'll come back to a few seconds.
Okay.
Me very much.
I'm going for a second, Dave.
I surfaced a little bit. Sorry?
No, carry on. You just broke up there.
Okay. I was just saying it took a bit of delving up to okay. Yeah, delving on the surface to find that the whole thing was a and then finding the truth. And the same thing happened with the Bible. I you know, thinking that the whole thing was a fairy tale, but started delving in, and for me, the smoking gun is something that I can actually verify for myself, is the names of places, the names of peoples, because the convention was to name a place after the people that lived there. And a big moment for me was when I was reading, I think it was part of the 1611 or an addendum to it, chart of the genealogy chart. And I was looking at the genealogy chart of Judah, and I happened to be reading the Iliad at the same time. And as I was looking down the genealogy chart, the names started to match up. And so there was a character in the Judah's lineage called Dada, and then I was looking at you know, the I guess the history of Troy, and you find somebody called Dianus, and his grandson or great grandson was Tros, one who founded Troy. Between the land of Canaan and where Troy was located, there's a place called the Dardanelles. So you can tell that Darda and his people were in this place called the Dardanelles, and then they moved to where this Troy was. So yes, you can you know, look at names of places and find out who the people were. Like the Sahara Desert, for instance, that if you look at an old map from the 1700s, you'll find it's called the Kingdom of Zara, or the desert. It wasn't called the Sahara Desert. It was called the Kingdom of Zara, which, yeah, there's a place in Spain called Zaragoza, which means the stronghold of Zara. Yeah, so you can tell where people have gone throughout history. You know, the tribe of Dan left the Danube, Denmark, Sweden, yeah, and lots of other markers as people went. So you know, this is how you can tell throughout history, even though the names get changed deliberately so you can't find out what's going on. But as I said, names don't disappear. And I gave the example once of my son, which I hope he's going to be able to join us at some point. He left this country when he was 18 months, and he grew up in America. Now, when he was before he was born, they changed the name of my favorite chocolate bar, the Marathon, to a Snickers bar.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we got to America, it was always called a Snickers bar. Okay. But one day my son actually said, yeah, can I have a marathon, Dad? And I was like, well, how did he get that? How did he got it from me? Because I would call it a marathon. So even though it's been for 2 decades or whatever, yeah, he still called it a marathon because names don't die, no matter how you try and suppress it. So yeah, I know you're saying that even though the weight of circumstantial evidence doesn't seem to, or second-hand circumstantial evidence doesn't sway you, but for me, something I can go to a map and see for myself, yeah, that does sway me.
Yes, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what, John? Also, I want to say is that we also got to keep in mind, this is a learning process for all of us, man.
Absolutely.
And one thing I realized is that we can't just dismiss information. And not saying that we are, but we have to just take on. We can learn something. It's a big puzzle, man. It's a big puzzle. You know what made me really knew that there was truth in the Bible was everything about the firmament, which I can't tell. I can't prove the firmament, but everything around me shows an enclosed system. I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Observation, right? Exactly. Also, Sodom and Gomorrah. There's a story. I don't really know the story too much, but in the Bible, I don't know exactly where it's at in the Bible, but where it said that the Heavenly Father dropped brimstone down on top, and there's people that went out there and actually checked that place. It can never be lived on again. Okay, literally, there's brimstone in the buildings and in the sand all over the place. So you're like, wait a minute, that says in the Bible. So there's a lot of truths.
Yeah. I mean, I think I said that at the beginning, Richie.
Absolutely.
I'm quite sure there's a lot of truth in
absolutely.
Old Testament and the books, because that's the only recording I had of history at the time. So there must be truth in it. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
But I'm just on.
That's faith. All right, we're not taking all that's faith, but we should know that, hey, okay, this makes sense because this is part of a puzzle. We had to learn how to decipher and use our own discernment on what's real and what's fake, and I think everybody can come with a little bit of everything, because once I woke up, I realized, that's why, I'm a vegan. I tell people that. And I'm going to tell you something. I am living proof, okay, that I'm still alive, okay? When I looked into veganism, not to go back onto this topic, just to touch on it real fast, the first thing I did was, when I researched, I asked, I'm in the medical business, when I'm not flat earthing, I'm saving lives, and I'm a firefighter, okay? So a lot of this stuff made sense. So when I asked all my friends that were doctors in the ER room, hey man, when's the last time you treated somebody for protein deficiency? Never. Hey man, when's the last time you treated somebody for protein deficiency? Never. It's like, okay, like vegans. I'm talking about vegans. And it clicked on me. I'm like, wow, when I do emergency service, I don't treat vegans. I only treat meat eaters and people who consume animal products. They're the ones on 20 different medications. Come to find out, if you go to a plant-based diet, after 2 weeks, you reverse your problems. It's the truth.
Yeah, I know. That's the first thing I researched was plant-based diet in the medical profession. So, yeah, I'm with you all the way there.
I started to hear better, see better, feel better. Oh my gosh. And I think it was just the right time for me to receive this information. Because I've woken up people that woken up people that woken up people, So I locked myself in the room and did the research and really looked into this because I thought I was losing my mind. But one thing that this taught me is I've never met anything in my life, Harry, that brought everybody that's bringing so many people together on this one truth.
But perhaps you are losing your mind, losing that old social conditioning mind where
mentality.
Yeah, where you're you begin to discover the falsehoods that you were told, and you're learning new things which contradicted that old mindset. So I think it's quite good to say you were losing your mind. You're losing that old schooling. You know?
Well, I was like literally looking at the door when I watched the biggest lie of all that Dave. No, it wasn't that. It was the interview he did in.
Oh yeah,
Macedonia.
Yeah, brilliant. That's one of my earliest.
Yeah, that was I locked my door. I was looking out the window like, I'm not supposed to be knowing this shit, man. I'm like, I got files on how NASA is lying to everybody. I'm literally like spending hundreds of hours looking at all the NASA footage, and I'm listening to Dave. I'm like, are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, so it's just
yeah, I have to credit you there, Dave. That was an amazing interview, and yeah, it set me off on another path. And I thought for you, oh well, it's all downhill for you now, Dave. But I was wrong. You just got on from strength to strength. So, but no, brilliant interview that. And
I couldn't believe anyone was interested in it because you know, no, seriously, it was like when I came back from Macedonia, the guy gave me the YouTube link, and obviously half of it was in Macedonian. And I thought, I'm not even going to tell anybody about this. So, but it was somebody else who took it. ODD did the best job of it. A couple of people took it, cut out the Macedonian. So that's why the guy doesn't seem to say anything. He did.
Okay, gotcha.
He talked a lot through that. Yeah, it was, but he was never negative about it. He was very supportive. He talked a lot through it, but his part got cut out. So everyone thinks I stunned him into silence, but I never did.
Everybody I speak to say that that's one of the best impressions on Flat Earth with that interview.
Oh my gosh, that's one of the things I give to people now. I say, hey man, check this out. I check this out, man. Look, just look at this.
Yeah, because you conducted yourself really well there. You're calm, reasonable, articulate, and talking common sense. You know, so
absolutely.
Well, I'm surprised. I was frightened out of my wits because I was expecting it was. I was expecting it was like cable access TV with like a watchership of like, you know, 5 guys and a dog, you know, and somebody's bait turned out to be national till he told me.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Oh no, fantastic work. Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you seen it as well, Jason? Didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I put it on my website. It was a must for. I've only put see on FE Start. I wanted just a few of the essential videos to watch. I didn't want it over. It's FE Start. It was the start. It had to be simplified, and yeah, Dave's video. Oh, it's definitely in there. It just has to be. It's one of the most essential starts. Yeah.
Absolutely great stuff.
Yeah, there's an excellent smorgasbord of content on FE Start. It's a pretty much unbiased website where you can get X amount of point of information for going on a tangent and researching more things to do with flat Earth, because obviously the Earth's flat. Obviously we don't live on a ball, but there's a lot of other subjects that go into that, and a lot of other content makers, researchers. I mean, I think in the not to coin the phrase, not to use the phrase because it's a bit cliche, but the truth community, I think, and I think many others can agree with this, is the truth community's got some of the best researchers, some of the best content makers, some of the best debaters, and collectively all of those content makers and people that have put the mileage into doing the research, actually the hours and sometimes the mileage, because sometimes that research comes with real life human interaction. So you've got the likes of Dave that have done a bit of both, and the likes of Harry and Jason that have done that, and the likes of you, Richard, that you've had many a human interaction. And to go to somewhere where you can get all of that information, like a one-stop shop. While we're on that subject of things on FE Start, Richard Lopez, what did you show me just before we went live? That magnet.
Oh yeah.
The magnet.
Yes, we got a group going on here in Pennsylvania, in the United States. FlatEarth101.com.
Yeah.
Who does Flat Earth 101?
Well, my friend Dave. That's his website.
Dave have a web. Does Dave have a YouTube as well?
Yes. Dave Gessner.
Pardon?
Yes. I'll send you the link to him. And yes, and he's also an editor at Flat Earth News and Report as well.
Cool.
And he's brilliant. He does banners as well. He does cards. When I go to Walmart, or when I find them, I drop them on globes. I drop them all over the place. We got money. You know, just today we got money.
Got money. What?
Yeah.
Money? What are you talking about? What are you going on about, Richard? What do you mean you got money?
$100 bill, right? So it looks just like a real $100 bill. You fold it, you put it on the ground. People look, oh my gosh, money! Bang, red pill.
That is insane. Listen, you know, got those. CC's got those. You know, CC's in the chat room got those as well.
I don't know. It sounds like you piss a few people off. That.
Yeah, straight red pill. Yeah, exactly. Hey, you know what? Hey, real beyond the point of being politically correct. People say, well, you curse. I was like, yeah, I curse. So what? I'm gonna be politically.
David's right. I've got some Flat Earth parking tickets, and I haven't brought myself enough courage to put them out.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I think it's good. Yeah.
Perhaps we can do that in the road, Jason.
Oh yeah, we should do. You know, I've got to do at least one day of it. I bought them, and I've just never done. I've never used.
We'll do that then.
Okay.
I can film you doing it. Yeah.
That's a plan.
I think we should make up a load of Flat Earth wheel clamps as well. Cardboard.
Yeah, it's all kind of bad. It's a lot of fun. This is the best experience in my life. People that know me know I'm dedicating my life to this Flat Earth truth. Yes, there's a lot of deceptions out there, and yes, they're valid, but I'm staying on point. I have to stay with the Flat Earth, okay? Because there's a lot of people in this world and around where I live haven't even heard the two words together before. Okay, that's how indoctrinated people are. So there's a lot of work. We have a lot of work to do. What you guys are doing at Speaker's Corner motivated me. Well, I want to get a Speaker's Corner out here.
Joe, I think is great, Richie, about street activism is that across the Atlantic, Canada and America, we're joining now and coming together, and we're seeing more and more groups coming out doing street activism, and you know, people like Mary at Sea Level, Flat Earth Fucker, Realm Walker, Zoom Truth, Authentic Intent, you know, yourself, Richard, and D Marble, and you know, we're connecting together, and I think we're stronger together. You know?
Yeah, and not to mention other people that you've been out on the road with as well, Harry. You know, there's other people in the chat room that you've been out on the road with. I don't know how many of you can see the chat room, but I just saw a message go up by John Thor as well. We've got people in the chat room that have been out on the road with you as well, Harry and Jason. I've not had the pleasure of meeting some of these people yet, but we've even got people in the chat room that have gone out there and gone into group activism with people that they might not have previously known otherwise, but they've gone out for one common purpose, and that is to wake the masses.
Yeah, I was coming around to the UK, but
Kimmy Spripper is in the chat room as well. Kimmy's in there.
Hi everybody. I just want to single out the people in America and Canada who are not here.
Yeah,
and then I think I've been out on the road with maybe over 100 people. So to mention everybody here in the UK I've been out with would be physical impossibility. That would be quite a few.
So give it a try.
Yeah, go on. We've got all night, Harry. Go on, roll it out. Roll up.
I'm losing it. But anyway.
Everyone in the chat room, I'll just give everyone in the chat room a task. But everyone in the chat room that's linked up with any one of us on the panel and gone out onto the streets, just type the number 1, okay? US and UK. I know there's some US people that have linked up with Richard in real life. Can you just type 1? If you've linked up with any one of us in the real life to go out and have human interactions with people and just show everyone on replay how many people have interconnected and connected with people in real life. So just put a number 1 in the chat room if you've connected with anyone in real life and had a real life human correction. Ruben, everybody equals mind controls in the chat room as well. Lifting the lift in the chat room as well. CC's in the chat room as well. Trinity Falls in the
Marilyn T's in the chat room.
Innovation of people that we've met in real life that are in the chat room. I think a lot's to be said for that. Please understand that on the replay. This is not a hype. This isn't fake. This isn't a fraud. Like, these people have met in real life and they've gone out there and they've told the people they've been lied to. This is not something that is not socially accepted to talk about. Don't believe what you heard. It's okay to talk about this in public, okay? Anyone who ridicules you is either scared or a known denier of the truth, yeah? Understand that. We've got ones all up in there, all up in the place on the chat room, guys.
Roxanne, Jason wanted to say something real quick.
Oh no, I just I spotted D Marbles here as well, and yeah, nice speaking to you last night. Brilliant.
Yeah, I think it should be commended what Roxanne said there about everybody, because it's not the easiest thing in the world to do by going out onto the street. And Dave, commend you as well for being a very prominent figure in Flat Earth to come out onto the street and into the trenches, the front lines. So.
Yeah, see, the first day that we ever went to Flat Earth on the 24th of June, I'd never met Dave Murphy in real life before. And as we got there and we were setting up, I just thought, oh, I'll give everyone a quick synopsis live of what Speaker's Corner looks like and what it looks like with a perspective. And I was just schmoozing around. And as I was schmoozing around, who was that guy that you were helping out with the red jacket on and that? But you were helping out someone else. You knew a bit about the subject that another guy was talking about, but you already rolled up, you were stuck right in there. It was brilliant.
Yeah, some guy talking about the monetary system, having a bit of a discussion with somebody, and they only had you know, there's like truth, or they were only sort of a few layers deep. So I went a few layers deeper than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I joined in somebody else's Speaker's Corner experience.
But that's what it is, isn't it? When you're there, everyone, it's like a department store for truth type conversation. Admittedly, a lot of it's religion based. I'll be honest.
When you guys go at it over there, I'm like, yo, I mean, literally going at it. I'm like, that's how you do it.
It's the forefront. It's definitely the forefront. If there was a like, you know, like when the military go out and the troops go out and they go to the front line, it's the front line. So, no, if you want to go and have an argument about the fact that you've been lied to and you don't live on a spinning, or if you want to have an argument about human history, his story, go there. If you want to have an argument about government and taxes, go there. If you want to have an argument about chemtrails, go there. If you want to have an argument about government, deep state movements, go there. If you want to have an argument about health and veganism, there's a lot of veganism people there. There's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of stuff there. It's like a Macy's if you're in America, or, you know, a Harrods, or maybe not Harrods, maybe a little bit Debenhams.
And I think it's great you guys are doing similar in Times Square now, and I really think this is really growing, and we should be connecting across the Atlantic, that we're all doing similar stuff, and even in Spain, I see street activism taking off. So Poland, it's happening everywhere.
To the FE mix crew. And
I think if we're all in communication and encouraging each other, it can only take this further forward. And it's great that we're all
007 out there in Tenerife with Alan.
Yeah, and it's great we're all in hangouts and sharing ideas and encouraging each other. So I think that's the way forward to build on that.
Work together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Let's not worry about what the bullshit is. Let's stay focused and let's work together.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, look what it's doing. It's bringing people like ourselves together, having like a human interaction. All right, we're not sitting all in the same room just now, but at least we're having a public conversation about subjects that aren't brought up in mundane conversations that you would have in everyday life.
Roxanne, I would like to ask Dave a question.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys get a chance to get his book, but there's a lot of good stuff in there. The monetary system, that was very helpful information. Yes, that was very helpful information, because I had no clue about that stuff. and you woke me up to a lot of stuff that it was so profound. I had to double check it and talk to other people. And like, yeah, once you know how the magic trick works, you can play it right on now. And I was, if you could like kind of like you know, give us you know, on your take on and your research on the monetary system.
Okay. Well, yeah, the monetary system. It's well, it's all a confidence trick essentially. And as you just said, it's once you know the trick, yeah, you realize how fiendish it is. Money doesn't come from banks. You know, we all assume that when we go to go and get a loan, for instance, you know, we go to the bank, they get us to sign a loan agreement. Yeah, let's say it's for £1,000. So we sign the loan agreement. They take that agreement. They move £1,000 from their store of money into your account. You use it, and now you've got to pay them back that £1,000 plus interest. Usually works out to be about 3 times the amount, you know, over the term. But it doesn't work like that. What happens is, when you sign that loan agreement, you've just created money. You've created a promissory note. Yeah, I promise to pay back 3 times the amount of the face. Yeah, the bank does is they take it and they cash it. Essentially, they take that note, which is a security now, a security that's worth 3,000 rather than the original 1,000. And with that security, they now are empowered to type in £1,000 into your account. That's all it is. It's digits written in a computer somewhere. So now you've got this £1,000 of credit, not even credit, that's only works in their banking system. So because it's such an all-pervading banking system, you think that it actually means something, but it's not. Doesn't mean anything. It's just credits that's being passed around between these banks. So now you think to pay them back, but you don't, because what they've left out of the equation is that you created the money in the first place. All they did was they took the loan agreement, and you gave the loan agreement out to them, and they went, okay, thank you very much, and here you go, there it is.
Illusionary.
And
sorry,
it's illusionary.
Yes, it's a magic trick. It's a confidence trick. So when I found out how it worked, I tested it myself. My very first test, I was still in America. $9,000 credit card bill. Okay, I was still paying the bill, but I wrote the credit card company a letter. Basically, the letter was exposing this fact and giving them the opportunity to either correct it or explain why it's not, not an error. And they can't do either. So, I sent them this letter, not knowing what to expect from it. And within a few days, I got a collections agency phoning me up for the full amount, the $9,000, even though I was completely up to date with the payments. They sent it straight out to collections, which means I'd already won, because when a collections agency gets involved, what they do is they buy the debt for pennies on the pound. Yeah. If you've got £1,000 debt, they've probably bought it for a tenner. And, and they're now hoping that they can, hi Joey. they're now hoping that they can actually bully you into paying them the $990 or pounds, for their initial investment of a tenner. So that's all they're doing now, using fear and bullying techniques to get you to pay up. But the point is, with no power over you whatsoever until you give it to them. Yeah, you have to give them the power that they can use against you. And one of the ways they do that is to say, give us a £1 a week. That's all. You don't have to put, you know, we don't want to stress you. Give us £1 a week. As soon as you give them anything, but you owe them something, now they can come after you for the full amount, and that's what they do. But until you do that, they can't do anything. Only bully you. Right. So yeah. So when a collections agency comes to you, you're quite within your rights to say, thank you for paying off my debt. Perhaps you should have come to me first to see if I'll pay you. But since you didn't, thank you very much and see you later. Right. And that's it. What happened is they'll go away, and maybe in a month or two time, another debt collections agency will try their luck. And you just send the same letter out to them, you know, and they go away. And eventually they realize they're not going to get anything from you, and they just go away. That's it. You've won.
Love it. We got Joey in the chat room. What's up, Joey? What's going on?
What's up, guys? Doing, guys? I'm kind of driving, but look, this is my first time ever doing a hangout deal. I appreciate y'all having me on, man. And hey, big ups to the big man, Dave. Dave's the man. I told Dave the other day, he's like a father to me. He's taught me more stuff than my own dad has taught me, man. So, big Dave, man. That's Daddy Dave right there, I call him. Absolutely.
It's good to be face to face with you, Joey.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, Dave. I appreciate all you do, and I appreciate all Roxy, all of y'all, John Smith, Rich, all of y'all guys. Y'all keep up what y'all doing. I want to get on and do more of this. I got a lot of information I want to tell y'all with the school system. I got a new class I got implemented right now. It's called, I kind of wanted to keep the name a little secret, but a few people know it. It's basically, it's just what I do right now. I'm up against the school board basically right now. And what I'm doing is trying to get a few classes in our curriculum that broadens their horizons away from the globe, you know, and that sphere and a lie, you know. I'm coming to the people at school board meetings with facts. I'm coming to them with all the truth I can come with. And I'm telling you, I got principals on my side. I'm an assistant principal. So I have principals on my side that's fans of all you guys, you know. And they sit back and they watch and they see what's going on, and they're closet flat earthers, you know. They're closet truthers. And but yeah, I just want to tell you, keep up the good work, man. And I'll be in touch with y'all some more. I'm on the road right now, and I'll be listening in also.
Thanks. And just so you guys don't know, Joey is a principal, or an assistant principal, and he's got to manage teachers. So how can you be into this truth? You know what I mean? And just let your teachers just teach kids. It's all, you know what I mean? So he's going against these board members and these school systems. Say, hey, you got to bring back the scientific method.
Very brave indeed.
We want to do some things. Absolutely, Joey.
I appreciate that, brother. And look, it's been tough. I get threats like all the rest of them. You hear me? There's a lot of people that don't want this truth out there. I will say that. You know, a lot of big people, it's about the politics of the game. And I'm telling you, man, Louisiana is like no other. You know, it's just like any other state, man. You know, it's all about money, you know. But I'm telling you, with all of us, we gotta understand that we have the power. We are the people, and we have the power. You know?
That's right.
We realize that shit, you know, that's when we'll take control, all right? And that's when we'll be on the offensive, you know? So, like I said, man, y'all keep up the good work. I appreciate all y'all doing, okay? I'll be in touch with y'all. Thanks again, Roxy. Thanks again, Rich. Thanks again, Dave, John Smith, all y'all. Love y'all. But
you the man, Joey.
Darling.
All right, take care, guys.
Take care.
See you, Joey.
See you, Joey.
All right.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes. That's
Talk about an international conversation, right? Isn't it great that we're able to use the technology while it's lasting for this kind of stuff?
That's amazing, Joey. Though I think the education system is where we should be trying to make a difference, and he's certainly doing that there. Wow,
absolutely.
Hats off to him.
Yeah, that was brought to my attention, and me and him was talking about that, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Yes, we need to keep track on this because he may need help in the future, and I'm willing to stick my neck out there for somebody like that." That's
undoubtedly.
I think it's
undoubtedly he's going to need help in the future because You know, a school actually teaching kids actual knowledge. That's something they don't want that.
Oh, I think it's one thing talking about it in the mainstream media, but it's another thing talking about it in the educational system.
Yeah, well, I mean, even my daughter's got at least one GCSE teacher that's flat earther.
Wow.
And he's open about it, so that's at least a good sign. I'm in London, and at least if one school's got one teacher, that's got to be a good statistic.
Brilliant step forward, yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's good as an individual teacher, but you know the system still remains in the.
Yeah.
Yeah, one brick at a time.
One brick at a time, and that right there, that's big. Because everybody knows all my kids are flat earthers. I tell them, they tell you about a spinning ball, prove it. They know, prove it. They know they're not spinning. They know our true cosmos.
I've got a good question for everyone, right? I'll start from left to right. I'll start with you, Dave, right? How do we expose NASA to the masses? How do you think NASA's credibility is waning? Yeah, so how do we expose NASA to the masses, and how do you think their credibility is waning?
Well, that's easy. Just get people to actually watch them for any length of time. Yeah, anything they put out. Yeah, I remember when I think it was what's her name? Tim Peake, when he was doing his spacewalk. I was watching that video intently. I think it was like 3 hours long or something, and I know there were like a few hundred people, maybe more, thousands of people watching every single frame of that video for the mistake. Well, I think they found his somersault, and he fell at the end. You know, that's the thing. You watch their video of time, because they're you know, there'll be a mistake, which some of them they can't help. Like you know, there's I found one where there's a water drip in the background while the guys are floating around in the foreground. You know, but the mistakes are there, and all you have to say to somebody is just go and watch. Go and watch and look out for anything out of the ordinary, and you know what, you'll find it.
Yeah, that's brilliantly put. Jason, how do we expose NASA to the masses, and how do you think NASA's credibility is waning?
Well,
it is.
I mean, for me, I mean, like when I'm out doing my activism, I actually, the only thing that I kind of say that is that all of this would be done right now to just put a camera on the moon. That's all we need is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week camera on the moon, and that will prove 100% that you know who we are, where we are, everything. I mean, like, and I don't think that's a big deal. If they're saying that they, you know, back in 50 years ago put men on the moon, and they can't send a drone up to put a camera on the moon now.
Movies and all kinds of shit, right?
And they believe it. And they believe it.
Yeah.
Hashtag they believe it.
Right.
The amount of things that we could say that Globehead's saying, and then we could just end the sentence like D Marble says, hashtag and they believe it.
And they believe it. That's crazy.
They believe
it. Yeah.
Harry, what do you think on this?
Yeah, well, I think NASA's lost a huge amount of credibility. And I think when we're out in the street, the amount of people who already know that the moon landings were fake. There's so many people now come forward telling us that out in the street. Well, flat Earth's a bit far, but the moon landings, yeah, it's fake.
Yeah, people seem to know about the moon landings being fake, right?
Yeah. So I think they've lost a huge amount of credibility there. And as Dave said, if people go and have a look and research all the anomalies and the fakery, and if the people are doing that, then they're waning. Their credibility is going down and down and down. But as Joey was saying, I think if we can get into the schools and let them know about all the fakery and the fakery of the moon landings, I think if we get into the education system, then I think we got a saying in Scotland: when the game's up, we say your tea's out.
Your tea's out.
So I'd have to say to NASA, your tea is about out.
Your tea's out, NASA. Your job's done, mate. Pack it up.
It's like the wagon trains are circling, and I think as Dave was alluding there, that we can all research better now with the technology we've got. So as what Dave said about watching that Tim Peake, yeah, we were all watching that for anomalies and mistakes, but we weren't doing that in the 1960s when they showed poor black and white images on TV. But now we've all got computers. We can slow down, we can highlight, and we can see that that's Photoshop being inserted.
But even if there was a good conjecture of people that were researching it back in the day, the mainstream media would have written the narrative, and Victor's would have written the history on that. So we wouldn't even have an accurate depiction on who was on it back in the day either.
I keep harping back to the 90-year-old guy who said, "Of course we landed on the moon. I heard it on the radio. I was listening to it on the radio."
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Was that up in the Highlands?
Yeah, so black and white TV was just a step forward on that. Oh, I see my little box in the corner of my living room on a shaky black and white TV. Of course it happened.
Wow. Rich, how do we expose NASA to the masses? Are we thinking album cover? Are we thinking Dave Murphy? You shared a really interesting. I'm just going to try and back and forth here because I just forgot to mention something. That image that you shared of that fake NASA bullshit and that album cover. Come on, has something got? Can we all just have an opinion on that as well? Sorry to chime in on that one myself, but I forgot to mention those two very important things that came out in the last couple of months.
Go ahead, Dave.
Right. Okay, I'll just say that yeah, well, some of us were a bit previous with that putting that picture out, me included, because it turned out that was a shot from supposedly a hole in a fake satellite, yeah, which apparently was that picture was around, I think the early 2000s or late 90s or something, and it was then taken and used for an album cover, and then Chris Hadfield, that so-called astronaut, basically used that to illustrate the hole.
But why couldn't they just illustrate it for it in real time?
I know, this is the thing. To be an astronaut and put that out is irresponsible at best. I think what he did was really he put that out to yank our chain, you know, because he knew, he had to know that people were going to go, that's not the hole, you know, and then somebody find what it originally was, you know. It was an astronaut putting this out. So no, I think I think personally put that out to yank our chain, yeah. So yes, that was a bit of you know, he did catch us out with that, but you know, an astronaut has.
If it was real, like a 4K imagery of the moon, if something happened on the ISS that was legit, we should have just seen a legit picture of footage. End of. It should. Well,
the whole thing was rubbish anyway. I mean, you know, somebody putting their finger over a 4mm hole next to the vacuum of space. They said,
don't get me started.
Yeah, you know, and they also said it was something punctured, a piece of debris punctured that you know, the ISS. Now think about it. The ISS is traveling at 14,500 miles an hour. Yeah, that piece of debris was going in excess of 14,500 miles an hour. Right, so a tiny 4mm piece of debris going at that speed will not only put a small hole in the you know, in the ISS, but it will carry on the side as well. 14,500 miles an hour. Yeah, no. So it went through one wall, didn't hit any equipment going through, and didn't, for some reason, didn't go through the other side and damage equipment and go and make another hole through the outside. And NASA said, well, it happened when they were sleeping, and so we didn't bother waking them up because it was such a small hole. That is rubbish. You know? So they slept for 8 hours while there was a hole leaking atmosphere into space. Now imagine vacuum of space, 14.5 or 14.7 pounds per square inch of air, going through a 4mm hole. That thing would have whistled like anything. You know, if you're sleeping on the ISS, you'll be aware of every single last little noise. What's that? Is it What the hell's that? Thing
Right.
must have been whistling.
Right. And he stuck his finger inside the hole, right? You know, it's a joke.
Oh no, he sucked out his finger.
Right, exactly. You know, my take on this is you got to understand what NASA is. NASA is a branch of our government. We are fighting an invisible war now. Our military has attacked us, and our spiritually and mentally, we're being attacked by our own governments. So if we can get people to know about NASA and that NASA is our government, these are military guys, military Freemasons that are doing this psyop on the masses. I mean, it's clear. It's an overpreponderance of evidence of what's going on. You know, before I woke up, I was big into aliens. I want to go to Mars. I knew NASA was full of shit. I knew that they lied about a lot of things, but I didn't think they lied about everything. You know? And that's what people have to understand, that they're lying about everything.
Yeah.
Name one thing they have contributed to society. Trillions of dollars, right? It doesn't make any sense at all. None at all. So I think once we keep waking people up about NASA and people really understand what's going on, that we're being attacked by our own governments, and people are going to start seeing what's going on, what's really going on.
Cool. I think you've got a valid point there. I'm going to go with another question to Dave. What changes and growth have you seen in flat Earth awareness since you found out the Earth was flat? Since you found out the Earth was flat. Since you found out the Earth was flat, what changes and growth have you seen in the global eye awareness since then? What changes have you seen?
Okay, well, you know, I actually got into this fairly early. It was the summer of 2014, and literally there were hardly any videos out there. There was not 400 maybe, not if that, you know. And I watched them all at least 5 or 6 times, you know. And you know, from summer of 2014 to we went from maybe 400 videos to 6 million videos. So you know, it was kind of a massive growth. And yes, just like I was saying about urine therapy, I don't know if it was this one or the one before. When I was talking about urine therapy, when I first started talking about it to people, I got the same reaction, you know, no, you know, but as time went on, the reaction changed, and the reaction has still changed. You know, I don't get that same reaction anymore. I get now I get kind of like, yeah, I've heard of that, or yeah, my dad used to tell me to wee on my hands and all. So the same things happened with flat Earth. When I first started talking about it, it was, you know, the same reaction, the you know, the laughing, the ridicule, you know, all that stuff. But now, you know, and we're kind of seeing it. You know, we've all done it. We're all out doing this street activism, what have you. We're seeing it now. People are like, yeah, I've heard of that, and yeah, I've got questions myself. You know, so yes, I'm seeing a shift, but I believe it's the same shift as the 100th monkey effect. You know, we don't need to convince everybody. We just need to convince, you know, a kind of core amount of people, and that will initiate the shift that everybody else will just get it.
Yeah, it'd be like a pressure
monkey effect.
Yeah. I think when you get enough numbers, it's almost like a pressure group, which the other parts of the community can't dismiss because it's so strong and it's so big. Yeah. It has to be listened to.
But it's not a physical thing. It's not like once you get a certain number of people, then they tell everybody. No, it's like it's
annoying.
It's a kind of spiritual thing. As soon as proportion of the, then everybody gets it.
Well said. Jason, what changes and growth have you seen in Flat Earth since your awakening last year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still fairly new into Flat Earth. So as you just said, last year, but I actually do see the fact that when I first got in, I didn't really see any. I mean, the only changes I've seen is activism. I didn't see an awful lot of people out doing activism. In fact, thinking back, I think I only seen. And I'm sorry, I forgot his name again. I'm terrible. The preacher guy in America. Who's the preacher guy?
I forgot to mention him earlier.
Did you? I forgot because he was brilliant. Is it Patterson or something? No.
I can't remember.
Oh, I cannot think of his name. He's starting to do T-shirts now. You know, he does lots of T-shirts for people, Flat Earth T-shirts. But he was quite an inspiration, you know, like seeing that he was one of the first people that I'd seen doing Flat Earth street activism. I thought, oh God, I wonder if I've got the courage. Sorry,
Ernest.
Of course it is. Ernest.
Yeah.
He's hardcore.
Yeah, that's right. And I've seen him outside, you know, like these universities and that, and thought, I don't think I've got the courage, you know, confidence to do what he does, you know, like, and here we all are now, and it's growing like wildfire, and we're all out doing the street activism, and I think it's people like him, yeah, sort of D Marbles just put in the Ernest Pearson, yes. He was an inspiration for me. I think that's where it's all going, and that's my biggest change that I've seen is Ernest isn't alone no more. We're all out doing it now.
Yeah, nicely said. Harry, what do you think about the changes and growth that you've seen in Flat Earth awareness since you woke up?
Yeah, when I first started, I couldn't speak to anybody about it. Didn't know anybody else who was into it. So sitting there and sitting here now with all this experience on the panel here, you know, it's telling me what great leaps it's taking forward. And I was just saying earlier, we're connecting across to America and Canada. We're all coming together. It's becoming quite a strong force, I think, around the world. And in Europe there with Spain, Poland, Tenerife, it's, you know, street activism is growing, and it's becoming such a force to be recognized.
Public awareness.
Yeah. And I think the more that grows, then it can't be ignored or suppressed or ridiculed to the extent that it perhaps is at the moment.
Yeah, I'm going to add in as well, because you do a lot of street interviews. From your very, 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 very first street interview to your most recent street interview, just name one thing that's been the biggest change.
Tell me more. Tell me more. When somebody says that to me, yeah, I'm interested. Tell me more. That's the greatest shift for me. At the beginning, it was, you know, they didn't want to know anymore and would want to ridicule it. But now people are actually actively saying, "Oh, right. I didn't know that. Tell me more." I thought, "Oh, wow,
great,
fantastic,
great answer." Richard Lopez, what changes and growth have you seen in Flat Earth awareness since you found out the Earth was flat?
It's a conversation piece. It's like a Trojan horse. Now I see people talking about it. I like going around strangers and talk about regular stuff and bang, hit them. So people are being a little more receptive now than it was. You know, when I first woke up to this, you know, you didn't see people out there doing. That's why you guys over there in the UK are motivating kind of, you know, beat on the street activism side, and that's just my thoughts. But I think that we can learn a lot from each other about what you guys are doing. You know, what kind of things. I think the first video I saw with John, with Harry, was when he had that interview with the destroyed that astrophysicist at the table at the bar, and I was like, damn. I was like, he's straight. He didn't have nothing to say. Mm-hmm. And I learned a lot from that, you know. So I think that, getting that stuff out there, getting people to know who you are, the real simple stuff, being real nice. And now at this point is, It's just dropping pills, just dropping just subtle hints, and keep it moving. Because you know, you're not gonna wake somebody up just right in that second. It's not happening.
Well said.
I think the fastest person I've seen ever woken up was a friend of mine, Brian. It took him 6 hours. He does solar power. He's my partner. I clocked in and said, hey, good morning. Hey, by the way, the earth is flat. He said, get the fuck out of here. I said, yeah. So I said, yeah, the second, you know, I was telling him about the satellites, it's real. And he started doing some research. He was like, it's impossible for satellite. right. So and then he started looking into it more, and every day we're watching Dave Murphy, watching Harry, you know, watching everybody. ODD TV, shout out to ODD TV. P Marvel, my man, with the with the level on the plane, killed it, bang. All right, my man talking some real stuff. Hey man, I'm an ex-military guy, and I'm telling you that we've been lied to.
It comes with a lot of credence, doesn't it?
Right.
You know, when you look at people, different walks of lives and everything, a lot's to be said for that. I've got a couple of other questions I want to go through with you, if you will bear with me. I'm going to start from left to right again, and everyone's going to have their opportunity to say their piece. Now, I want to know, first of all, and second of all, how do we win over the academia to the fact that we don't live on a globe? Like, how are we going to sway the scientific community, the educational system? How are we going to win over the academia in all aspects to the fact that we're not on a spinning ball?
That's a tricky one, because the problem, as I see it, is actually getting them to sit at the table. We were very lucky at the the UK conference that we got these PhD students, right? They were willing to sit down, and they end up getting schooled, to be honest. But as I said, the problem was actually getting to the table. And yes, they were great because they were young and thinking it was going to be a bit of a walkover for them. But you know, it's literally getting academia to actually sit and talk to us. Because I mean, I put that challenge out to Neil deGrasse Tyson over a year ago now. So I put it on YouTube. I emailed him. I sent actual 2 snail mail letters to his to both of his offices. People tweeted it to him. You know, there's no way he didn't see it. He can't have not seen it. Yeah. So but he won't with it. He won't talk about it. And this is what we get. You know, we can't because there is a possibility that we might sway them. Yeah, we might say something that will change their paradigm. And you know, just like when I got into the truth, my whole life had to change. You know, my marriage ended. I ended up having to move from America back to England, and you know, my whole life took a detour because I found the truth. Wow. So there's a lot of academia who will not even face that, because even talking about it threatens their lifestyle.
Yeah, well said. Jason, how and can and how do we win over the academia to the fact that we don't live on a globe? We're not on a spinning ball. How do you think we're going to win over academia, overflow the scientific community?
I think it's, for me, I think it's baby steps. I think yes, we need to reach. It's not reaching teachers, professors, and science people, and that it's if we reach the kids first, reach the students, and because we go out all the time and turn around and say, don't believe what we're saying. We just get them to challenge science. You know, like we kind of need them to speak up, not on behalf of Flat Earth or anything, but just getting them to say, look, don't believe in what you're being told. You know, like we just need you to challenge what you're being told instead of just like trying to repeat everything to pass this bloody exam. You know, because that's all they're doing. They're just repeating and that's even for like adult students and that. You know, they're still repeating stuff to pass this bloody exams all the time, and you know, like so we're not going to get through until we get like students, you know, like to challenge their teachers. I think that it's baby steps. We need to go through the back door and get the kids, get the mature students to challenge education.
Awesome. Harry, what do you think?
Well, in my humble experience of being out in the street doing activism, I think the greater the investment in academia, as in higher education, university level, the greater the level of defence to their worldview being challenged, because they've invested so much into a prestigious university, probably where their parents went. So how could they possibly be wrong? And this working class guy in the street trying to challenge my worldview. So I think it's a great resistance, the more higher level academia. So I agree with Jason, where I think you have to go early intervention, and maybe young kids at school who do have their own social network on their phones and their laptops, are only too willing to look at things on YouTube. So I think that's the level we should be aiming at. But then, you know, children, you know, they're minors, so you can't really force your views upon children, especially from strangers. So it's a very difficult angle to come in at. But sometimes out in the street, we do meet groups of teenagers who approach us and engage with us. So, but it'd be wonderful to do more of what Joey is doing, because he's actually in the school system and he's trying to affect change there and then. And we met, when I was doing the Scottish tour, we met a teacher who tries to talk about this at the school assembly. Mm-hmm. So I thought, wow, with that and with Joey and a couple of others, and like Roxanne's daughter has a teacher who's more open to it. You know, I just think it's little steps, like Jason said, within the younger generation rather than the older generation. Although I do like to go to universities and I do like to challenge the more indoctrinated into academia, because the greater line of defence, and I see that as a quite an enjoyable challenge, because they immediately assume a superior position because they've attended this prestigious university. They think they know their cup's full. There's a conclusion there. So I quite enjoy chipping away at that perhaps what you know is not the actual truth. So, but yeah, I agree with Jason, it's small steps, and I think the younger generation, like Joey's trying to do, is a great way.
Yeah, well said. Richard, what do you think it's going to take to sway the academia section of things and move away from the globe life?
Pushing on. Keep doing what we're doing. Let's come up with other ideas. You know, let's make sure our kids are woken up first. Because kids, what I noticed, they haven't had a long time of indoctrination like we had. You know, so this is they're going to be able to get it. Because when I was a kid, I always had questions about the ball. But then someone told me this magical word, gravity. I'm like, okay, you're a ball. But I always like, well, people standing upside down, you know, it's like, you know, it just doesn't make sense, you know what I mean? So I think that, you know, kids get it. I've talked to kids and they're like, oh, okay. You know, it's real simple, you know, because they haven't been, you know, fed a whole bunch of lies all their life. You got to think about it. I mean, everything that we did, every action I made was based on a lie.
Yeah. Yeah, do you know what? Based on a lie, cognitive dissonance. That brings me to my next point. Dave, I want to go to you. In fact, no, I'll go back to front, actually. I'll start with you, Richard. In your personal opinion, how do you think we can unlock their critical thinking? of what they've been taught? What do you think the best keys are, or the best tools, or maybe the best points to try and unlock those doors of what they've been taught, and try and channel at least make them open to the suggestion of critical thinking in the first place?
Common sense. I literally, what I did was, when I woken up to this, I said, well, what can I do? So I was like, okay, well, let me do this. Let me do the Uber thing. I'm gonna do the Uber thing. I get a chance to meet people, and I got the Uber, but I didn't start it till like 3 or 4 months later because I didn't want to have strangers in my car. But then when I tried it, I was like, okay, these just regular people just get to where they gotta go. I'm like, all right, but it gave me the perfect platform to hit them hard. You're getting, hey, what's going on? Thought you never asked. I'm gonna ask you 2 questions. Because we got about 20 minutes. Are you a critical thinker? Oh, yeah. Do you agree that most of what we know is second and third hand information? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Bang. And this is gonna be easy for you. Keep it simple. Human beings, we start buying into stuff when we keep hearing it over and over and over and over again. Just like that's how they get you with the music industry. You hear a song that for the first time you're like, yeah. You hear a couple, 3 or 4 or 5 more times, and you're like, you're gonna start singing that song. Repetition. Every day, all day, every day, nonstop, no matter what. And they're cracking. I got people that was some of my biggest adversaries in the beginning. And I was like, hey, man, it's flat. Oh, man, you crazy. You're on drugs, blah, 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 blah. Now, or emailing me, asking me questions, and want to know more about the truth. So you're not going to get instant satisfaction.
Fantastic, Richie.
What about you, Harry? What do you think?
Taking on from what Richie said, common sense and appealing to their intelligence. And I think keeping it simple is right, because I think you can go into too much technical information to people who have not come across this subject before.
Right.
But I think my greatest successes have been when I'm appealing to their common sense and their open-mindedness and how critical thinking they are. And when you put all that to them and they tell you, then okay, then, let's test that. And how do you know what you know?
Yes.
Second-hand information, is it a belief, or can you actually prove it to me? And if you can't prove it to me, then it's obviously an ideology or a belief. And I think a lot of people like to think they know, but I think we can break that down and get them to realise without telling them that, well, perhaps I don't know, perhaps it's just second-hand information. I believed everything, because I tell everybody that I had to be honest with myself.
Yeah.
Everything that I knew about the heliocentric model and about space was a belief. I believed everything I was told. I couldn't provide evidence for it, and I couldn't verify any of it. So I think you can get somebody else to realise that all you have is an actual belief. You believe you've been told, and may I add, at 5 years old, when you're young, impressionable, and naive. Tooth Fairy, Santa Claus, same time. Come on.
Yeah. All in the same.
Critical thinking, is it?
Doing the same thing. Well said, Harry. Jason, what do you think is needed to unlock the critical thinking in the indoctrinated?
Well, I'm slightly embarrassed by the word critical thinking. Last year, when I got involved with Flat Earth, I never actually even heard of the term. I didn't know what critical thinking was. So I went through my comprehensive school and left that comprehensive school. I never went to college, didn't go to university. I was never taught what critical thinking was, never heard of the word. So I kind of think that, I'm not sure what age that people naturally developed critical thinking, but as a young kid at school, I certainly wasn't told about it. I've spoken to other people about it, kids who are just leaving school and that. Have you ever been taught what critical thinking is? And they haven't even got a clue what this is. I'm not alone. I thought I was alone, but I'm not alone on this. So for me now, I kind of think that critical thinking I just want to challenge kids now and say, you know, like, try and find the curve. just go out there. Let's do some experiments on, you know, like trying to find this curve. Why is it that we can see land that we shouldn't be able to see? And that's as far you say. Keep it simple, Harry, and that's as simple as I want to go. You know, I think that is that's the way forward. To just keep it very simple for them. But yeah, I didn't know what critical thinking was.
I know, but I have to agree with you. The same with me. But don't at school. But don't you think that should be one of the first things children teach is how to think critically?
Yes,
critically think.
Yeah,
that should be day one in school, I think.
Yeah.
You know,
where are your thoughts at with it, Dave? What do you think is going to be needed to unlock that critical thinking within the indoctrinated?
Yeah, well, if we're talking, we're still talking about academics, then, you know, we can't approach it from a critical thinking standpoint, because, you know, to be brutally frank, their critical thinking process has been hijacked by their educational process. Yeah, you know, they can literally only think in one way, and you know, when you even speak to, say, a marine biologist, for instance, about the flat Earth, they'll think they know way more than you because they've been trained in science. It doesn't matter what area of science. I've had this conversation so many times. You know, they seem to be an expert in all things, you know, physics, but they've got a degree in marine biology or whatever. Yeah. So you can't out science any of those. You can't throw numbers at them or anything, because they'll have better numbers. They'll and even if you have them, they'll be convinced that they have better numbers than you, because they've got the degree on.
I think just say, Dave, I mean, I think natural science, I think we can back up them a wee bit with natural science, about the science of observations and provable, you know, repeatable evidence. I mean, that is the basis of what science should be about. And I sometimes try to bring them back down to that and say, but okay, going on from that, you can't provide any of that.
Yeah, but even going down that route of saying, well, I'm doing science. Well, they believe they have the monopoly on science because they've got their piece of paper on the wall. Absolutely. Yeah, I will agree with what everybody else has said, that it's the common sense approach. You know, push the numbers aside, push the science aside. Well, we've been told for 500 years that you can see a boat go over the horizon, you know, hull first and then mast. Yeah, but anyone can go out and get a camera and zoom in and bring it back. So that right there has broken that 500-year-old story. Yeah, that you know, with the naked eye we can see a boat go over the curve. Right, so there's no arguing against that. You know, you don't have to throw numbers, you don't have to do anything. You just have to say, look, go out and get a camera, do it for yourself. Yeah, very simple, straightforward, no numbers, no science, no nothing. It's just a natural experiment to perform.
Yeah. You know what I tell people all the time? I was like, you know what's crazy? I was at Wawa. It's like a little chain of little marts where you get gas, one-stop shop type deal. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you know, I'm getting coffee and I see this lady. I'm like, you know what's crazy? I can't believe people believe that we live on a ball and we never experienced living on a ball. Simple stuff like that. Like, you know, or simple stuff like the earth does not curve downwards. And when you tell people that, I kid you not, try it. Tell people that the earth does not curve downwards. And it's sort of like you watch them get like a little TIA. And a TIA means it's like a mini stroke. They sort of get like, because you just, you know, no one's never told them that. You know, like, it doesn't curve downwards. Not only that it doesn't curve downwards, it doesn't curve upwards. So, you know, when you break it real simple stuff like that, you know, it's up, man. It's up. Keep it simple, stupid, keep it moving. You know? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, I think some of the biggest. Oh, sorry, there's a bit of a lag here. Sorry. Yeah, I think some of the biggest successes I've had with people is where I've been able to show them, say, a video of somebody doing a very, very simple experiment that actually illustrates a point, such as where people say, "Oh, well, how come if we're on this flat plane, we're looking at buildings off in the distance, we can only see half the building." They say, "Well, that's there as proof of the round Earth." Well, there's somebody who's done a video putting on the floor, and as that person walks away, you can see half their body disappears. Yeah, a very, very simple experiment that shows that actually, no, on a flat plane, yes, you will get effects like that.
Right.
Again, you can't argue with it. You can't throw numbers at it. You can't throw science at it. You're just watching it there yourself.
Right, and it's simple. I mean, like you just say with how people say, "Oh, the sun is setting, going down the ball." That's real easy. So when you say, "Okay, well, I guess 13 miles is the furthest like we can actually see." I think
it's less than that.
Yeah,
huh?
I think it's much less than that.
Much less than that. Okay, maybe 3 miles, something like that, whatever. But if
3
you
to 5 miles,
maybe like the horizon, maybe 13 miles away, right? Well, if you get on that boat and go where you see the sun is, when you get to 13 miles, right? You're gonna see where you're gonna see the sun at. You're gonna see it. You're gonna still see the sun. You understand what I mean? Like, you're gonna still see the mountain. Okay, well, go to the horizon. Keep going. Keep heading towards the horizon. You're gonna see the sun.
Yeah, but wouldn't that work on the ball as well? I'm just thinking, wouldn't that work on a ball as well? If it's the sun's going, over a ball,
about the sun's
if you start,
yes. So if the sun's going down the ball, right? Because you see it. Well, if you get on a boat, just go to where you see the horizon. And then you go. All right. Well, then go another. You're gonna keep seeing the sun. It's not going down. No.
It's never going down.
Yeah. Never going there.
Right.
It's never going down.
Yeah, and you can actually get there's a YouTube video again, somebody with a P900. You look at the sun being halved basically by the resin, so you see half the sun. You zoom in and no, sorry, it's above the horizon. So that's just an optical illusion.
That's just like what Richie was saying, practically doing that. And a P900 sort of demonstrates what Richie was saying about going further. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Simple experiment.
But I'm just saying that they're the most powerful proofs. Something that somebody else can go out and do. Yeah. And you can't argue. You can't throw numbers. You can't throw science at it. It's forgotten.
Right. Why did it have to be an edge? Yeah, exactly. Why did it have to be an edge? When everywhere we go is water.
And I think there's something to look forward to now at the end of this year. Now, just to remind everyone now, and you can all get your wallets out. The P1000 has now just been released, so I can't wait for all the new footage. Yeah.
P1000, is that made of liquid metal?
Well, I'm looking forward to this footage. I can't wait.
Wow.
Yeah, I understand it's 125 zoom.
That's right. Yeah.
Like we got 83 with the P900, so 125. We should be able to actually zoom in on the on Apollo 11's landing.
Flag.
Right. I want to see the flag now.
Yeah. Up there. Right.
I've got another question, and I'm going to go random this time. I'm not going to go in any particular order. I'm just going to pick you out one by one. So I'm going to start with Jason on this one.
Yeah, cheers.
Should we be concentrating on more media exposure?
Oh God, yes, without a doubt. Look, as much as we hate them, for giving us all these lies but you got to remember, there's 99% of the population of the planet are still being programmed. So yeah, we have to get on, on the program, as well. And hopefully, for those who are doing any interviews with the media and all that, remember, you're always going to be edited to look a fool, always. So you kind of need to try and get on the media, on the TV live. You need to get on the radio stations live. You know, like you want as little editing as possible. Even with newspapers and that, again, you're going to be edited to look a fool. So when I think people are a little bit harsh when they see people on TV or radio or whatever. Speaking for myself, it's kind of it's a difficult unless you're live and all that. Then yeah, us flat earthers, I'm sorry, we're in the media eyes, we're still fools. They're going to make us look like that.
Right, Dave. What's your thoughts on that? Should we be concentrating on more media exposure?
Yes and no. Yes, obviously, you know, the any advert. What's the phrase? Any
good news.
Any was it? Sorry.
Any news is good news.
Yeah. So any publicity is good publicity. That's what I was trying to think of. But there, you know, there have been a couple of incidents so far that you know, left me with a bit of a bad taste in my mouth, to be honest. We had a few people go on to This Morning, and actually say things that flat earthers don't say. One of them, I'm quite
on that, Dave.
Sorry, say again.
You want to enlighten a few people, especially the 90 odd people sitting in the viewing count just now watching.
Certainly. So in that This Morning show, Darren Nesbitt was speaking about the astronauts, and he said something that that no flat earther would ever say. He said all astronauts are military.
Yeah.
Well, none of us have said that. We wouldn't say no. We know that all astronauts are Freemasons, but he said all astronauts are military. Now, right there, Philip Schofield literally looked down at his pad and said, "Oh no, that's not right." And he listed off the actual numbers of you know, there were 14 civilians, there were 2 teachers, and he just listed off all this. He had the right information right in front of him for something that no flat earther would ever say. That tells me there was a setup there, one way or another. Now, there have been in that same interview, there are a couple of other things.
Yeah. Like
you know, after the Flat Earth UK conference, where we had the debate with the PhD students, and in that debate, very, very prominently, we had a PhD student say Newton was demonstrably wrong. Yeah, he was wrong. Okay. So Martin Kenny goes on to This Morning and is asked, you know, so Newton was wrong, was he? Oh, well, I don't think he was actually wrong, and carried on talking about stuff. But you know, was he not at the conference where he was? You know, Newton was demonstrably wrong. So if yeah, so you know what I mean? Yes, you know, publicity is great, but I'd caution people, if you know, if you're invited on to go on to the TV, you best have your, you know, have your knowledge together, or defer to somebody else who you think has got more knowledge, because you know they're there to try and make you look ridiculous. You know that they're trying to make you look ridiculous. So if you are going to go on there and possibly be up against you know, an astronaut, that's happened once, or you know, an astrophysicist, you better I don't want to use the word, have your crap together, so that you know you don't look a fool. Because yes, they can edit it, but you know, they can literally make you look in the outside, make you look like a fool.
Yeah.
And that's the worrying thing, isn't it? That's the worrying thing, is when they go out there and they go right out there and then they end up making a mockery of it.
Sure, and that's
with the mainstream media, they can play with it then, can't they? They can use it and abuse it.
Well, obviously that's their intent. They don't want this out there. They know that people are waking up to it. They can't ignore it. So they're, you know, the only thing they can do is to discredit it, ridicule it, you know, make it look so ridiculous that nobody even wants to hear the words. Yeah. So, you know, going into it, you know that that's their aim. Okay, they're going to try and make you look stupid. So, you know, if you're not, you know, not very sort of skilled or not very knowledgeable, you haven't done any experiments yourself, you're not, you know, 100% sure, then you really, you know, shouldn't really go on there. You know,
well said. Well said. Richard Lopez, what's your take on it? What's your take on the whole media coverage with the mainstream media?
I can't wait till they put a camera in my face. Let somebody put a camera in my face about something not even related to flat Earth. I'm gonna be like, water always finds its level. It's flat. Look it up. You know, I can't wait. But like Dave said, it's good. It's good and bad. Like, yeah, if you're gonna defend, if you're gonna go out and do that on that type of level, make sure you know your knowledge. Make sure you know what you're talking about. Make sure you're able, if you don't know, tell them you don't know. It's okay to say you don't know. Yeah. People don't realize that.
Absolutely right.
You don't know that. People say, I don't know. I'm okay with not knowing.
Yeah.
I'd rather not know a lot than believe a whole load of crap.
Yeah. Right. And I don't want to tell you something like, hey man, I don't know. Let's find out together. I don't know. That's a good question. I'll look more into that. But you know, like you know, Darren Marble, he said something too, which that helped me out with my street activism. When you start telling people about the ground, about the flat Earth, right? People want to go start talking about stars and other different topics. Like we was talking about last time, you have to learn how to control the conversation and keep them on the flat Earth.
That's right.
I'm telling you that the Earth does not curve downwards. And the next thing you tell me is, well, about the stars? No, I'm telling you that the Earth doesn't curve downwards, man. No matter how, in their math, the scientific math and NASA's math, right? It's not adding up. It's not adding up. So, right, exactly. So I think that the media, hey, it's a good thing, a bad thing. Get ready, know your stuff. You know, hey, you know, be prepared. Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance, baby.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, 100%. Harry, what do you think?
I think it's a paradox, and but it's a tool we must use. And, I think Dave was pointing out the good and the bad, and Jason and Richie talking about. Yeah, the main aim is to make us look silly, but I just think if the media does get saturated, flat Earth has been talking about more and more. It's becoming more into the public psyche, and it's only so much they can make a fool of until more people say, "Oh, wait a minute, there's raising some good points there." And I have to give my hats off, a credit to Martin Kenny the second time he came on Breakfast TV on his own, and I thought he made the British, was she a scientist for NASA? Can't remember, but I thought she made her look stupid. And, I thought he came out of that one with a lot of credibility, and I thought the more that we can do that, and the more people that go on the mainstream media, the more flat Earth is going to be talked about. Yeah, they cannot ridicule it forever. It will break at some point, and people will start to think, "Oh, wait a minute, that makes sense. I'm going to go and have a look at that." So yeah, it's a paradox, but I think it's a tool we have to use. But like you were all saying there, you have to be really prepared and to know your stuff before you go on mainstream media. I think I would nominate many people for myself, because I don't think I'm coherent enough to go on television. I feel I'm knowledgeable enough, but I don't think I'd come across as credible, because I don't think I would be able to construct a good argument there live on TV. I think a lot of people underestimate the pressure. Well, you know all about it, Dave, having done it several times. But I remember I was going through Glasgow and many years ago, and the BBC stopped me in the street and asked if I'd like to partake in an interview about a subject. I can't even remember what it was. I thought, yeah, great, yeah, because I had an opinion on it. And, so all of a sudden came forward a huge camera, intimidating camera stuck in my face, and then a huge mic, and then a huge light shining on me. I went, oh no thanks. So off I went because I felt under great pressure and stress, and I think a lot of people don't realise the amount of stress that is when you're in front of a camera and live. So I don't think I'd do a good job of that. But Jason,
yeah.
you felt that a wee bit just on the radio, didn't you, Jason?
Yeah, I was kind of caught off guard. I wasn't kind of expecting to go on, really, you know, like because I was told that they've already got enough people, you know, to go on the show, and then to get a phone call and just drop everything, and I was so not prepared for anything, you know, like I was kind of like, so as I was talking as well, you'll see my hand going as well, you know, because I'm trying to write down questions and talk at the same time. You know, it's really difficult. But I think that, look, we're all new at this, and
apart from Dave.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, we're all new, and you know, like the only way for us all to get sharp at all this stuff is we've got to keep putting ourselves under pressure and just keep, you know. But you're right, Dave. You know, like we've got to know our shit.
Absolutely right. You know.
Well said. Right, so flat earth street activism is growing both here in the European state and Canada and America. Sorry, it's growing everywhere. What can we do to encourage this growing street activism, everyone? I'll start with you, Richie Lopez.
Take videos of it, document it, have fun with it. Talk to people with it. Try to wake up your family first. That's what I did. That's all. I woke up my family. I started with them. Practice on them. You know, keep watching other people expand. You know, the deception don't stop at flat Earth. So, you know, it's a lot of other deceptions out there. You know, I say take a look at them. You know, use your own discernment. But it's the flat Earth is. I tell people it's not a conspiracy. I don't deal with conspiracies because conspiracies, they all have dead ends. You can't really prove them. The flat Earth, it's not a theory. You can prove the flat Earth.
Yeah.
You know, you can't prove the globe. You know, and what I found out is these people. The reason why these people are not coming out to front and they're running because they can't defend the globe. I have yet not met one person defending the globe. Never. I've talked to the smartest people and literally had to tell them the more diplomas and education you have is the more indoctrinated you are. You can't defend it. That's proof right there. If you got the smartest people, so-called, and they can't defend the globe, and they still talk about Christopher Columbus, it's like, you know, you're not even on the same ball field. You're not even the same ball field. You know?
Okay, you've got a good point.
He's trying to motivate. Yeah.
Dave, what do you think we could be doing more to encourage more activism, more getting out there, more having human interactions, just more of everything? What do you think we could do to encourage that?
That's simple. That's just us doing more of these things and putting those videos out there so that people can see them. Yeah. I think a lot of people are getting rather fed up with social media, really. You know, we're all getting to that point where, you know, there's too much of it. It's too much sitting in front of a computer, not really interacting with people. And, you know, it's a natural progression to want to get out from behind that screen and go out and talk to people. But for most people, it's only going to take the courage. Yeah, the courage to actually go out and do that. I mean, yeah, it's all very well talking to somebody on social media and you know, saying all this stuff on Facebook and stuff. It's another thing standing right in front of somebody and trying to convince them.
Right.
Or lots of people. But you know, the thing is, there's something called the bystander effect, which is, you know, if somebody collapses on the street in front of you, and you know, people will tend to walk past, not do anything until they go to help, and then all of a sudden everybody wants to go and help. Yeah, it's called the bystander effect, and essentially that's it. If we're putting ourselves out there, you know, doing this, showing how you know, how much fun it is actually. Bystander effect kicks in, and other people will be really interested in doing the same thing. And since we've been doing the Speaker's Corner thing, you know, other people say, well, when's the next one? When are you doing the next one? I would like to come along. And you know,
if I could interject there, Dave, I think that's what I got from observing you, and what is maybe not relayed enough is how much fun you were having. And although sometimes it can be stressful and hectic, but when I looked at you interacting, I could see you were having fun, and I could see that also in Jason and other people I've been out in the street with. And it's sometimes something that's not advertised greatly, because sometimes it can be very, you know, stressful and a lot of conflict, but it can also be, you know, really enjoyable. And I've seen you demonstrating that. And
yeah, well said, Harry. Well said. That's a really good point. That's the one thing I've noticed with everybody is when I see them fully in their activated mode, it's like that's when I see people in their happy place.
Yeah.
They don't see it in themselves. It's like they have to you have to see it through someone else's eyes. But even when I see you, Jason, when I see you in full activated mode, it's like I see you positively looking quite gleeful. And, you know, sorry, I just want to let everyone know we were standing in pouring rain. And when I say we were standing, I was not even standing in the rain for any length of time like you and Dave were, Jason. You got there before me. Dave, you got there before me. You lot were soaked by the time I got there. But yeah, you were underneath umbrellas looking positively gleeful while you were telling everybody, no, you're wrong. And here's why you're wrong.
Yeah.
Not all of us had umbrellas, though.
And I often relay this story as well. The first time we all got together as a collective in London, we're staying at Ruben's house, and I think that was Jason's first involvement in a big group. And then after the street accident, we're all at his house. You know, we're all in good spirits and feeling good about what we just did. And then I'll catch a glance at Jason, and he was just sitting there with the biggest grin on his face. Because,
and I wasn't smoking pot.
No. But he just relayed what the feeling is amongst the group when they're having a very positive experience, and that's the same what I see in Dave at Speaker's Corner, and it's a wonderful feeling to be around. You know.
Absolutely. Yes, it is.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Who haven't I come to yet with this about pushing activism forward? Who haven't I specifically?
Me, I think.
Yeah. You? Go for it, Harry.
I would just say, well, what you're doing right now, Roxanne, I think you're bringing all activists together. We're discussing ways to take it forward. And I think reaching out across the pond with fellow Americans and Canadians and discussing it on I used to try and think of another word than global, you know, maybe on the macro level rather than the micro level. It's all coming together. I think that's a great leap forward. And you know, looking at the panel here at the moment, it's just fantastic to see. All activists in their own right, all from different places, all coming together trying to promote this and take it forward. More of the same.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. I don't know about the rest of you, but I think that's I think I concur with everything that everyone said. For once, I haven't even got any kind of quandaries or conjectures with that. I'm gonna go with you, Richie Lopez. I'm gonna ask you, what's the most effective method for raising people's awarenesses for for example, hangouts, experiments, street activism.
I flipped Facebook. When I woke up, I was like, okay, after I decided I'm going to dedicate my life to this, which I've done, which I'm doing, I've switched my Facebook around straight hardcore flat earth.
Yeah, me too.
Flat Earth News and World, Flat Earth News and Reports, Firmament. I'm part of other people's groups, bringing people together. Let's make this happen. Let's do it. Let's get up. Let's see what those people over there in the UK is doing. Let's see what they're doing in Canada. You know, we got South Korea. D Marble about 6 months ago went to South Korea. That's big. That's big.
That was big. Yeah.
They had a translator the whole nine, really translating.
Yeah.
So, you know, so let's lead by example. We have to lead by example. So let's lead by example, and let's help each other.
Yeah.
Let's not be a part of this whole this and this. Let's just help each other, man. That's it. Forget the nonsense. Let's put our blinders on like they do on horses. Stay focused and keep it moving. Lead by example, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said.
Yes.
Well said. Jason, what is the most effective method as far as you're concerned for raising people's awareness? You know, for example, like I said, hangouts, activism, experiments. I
think probably bringing together the last three questions. What you've just come up with. When I first went out, I found it incredibly difficult to speak to people. Not a lot of confidence, and we're all about to go out. Me and Harry are about to go out and do this amazing journey around the UK. And what we need now is what we need is an army. We need an army of disciples now to and get back to what Dave said before, to know your shit, start learning everything that you need to know, and kind of like
get clued up.
Get clued up. Come out with us to begin with. You know, like we're going to, was it 56, 57 locations around the UK? Come and join us. You know, like I'll be listing the locations. Come and join us. That'll give you a little bit of confidence, you know, like to be around like-minded people, and then what we'd like to do is we'd like to see. I'd like to see everybody in every town, so that, you know, like, so we can't be everywhere, but you guys can all do the same, and like I think to push this forward, if there was a 1,000 small groups all up and down the country, week in, week out. I think that you know, like the whole system has to take notice.
Yeah,
you know, that's the way forward for me. It just needs people to and we'll spread like a virus. You know, like we just need to multiply ourselves. Duplicate all our effort.
How many people can you duplicate? It's all about duplicate. How many people can you duplicate?
That's the one.
Being yourself. How many people can you make? Can you duplicate yourself? How many times can you duplicate yourself? How many times? And that's what it's about.
That's right. Like, if we had 1,000 Dave Murphys out there on the street, it'll be over and done with at the end of this year.
Absolutely, yeah.
Done deal. Yeah. Done deal. It's a done deal.
Every town in the land, yeah, absolutely.
Real talk, Dave. What do you think regarding you know, experiments, hangouts, activism?
Well, I think the best way is
people's awareness.
I think the best way is what you guys are actually doing. This tour is amazing. Yeah, just going around all these different places and just exposing just ordinary people to this, doing this activism. That's, again, you know, unfortunately the other problem with social media is that they are striking back. You know, they've used their algorithms to make sure that if you try and search for flat Earth, you're not going to get our videos. You're going to get the debunking videos.
Yes.
You know, I've seen it myself now that you know, I've gone onto YouTube with a new browser that doesn't have me linked to it. I've gone on there, tried to search for flat Earth, and sure enough, I get all the crappy debunking flat Earth videos, and then maybe you get 3 pages in, and you might start seeing some of our videos. So keep looking for them. If you keep looking for them, you'll start to find our videos. Yeah, but it's actually getting people to want to find our videos, and you're doing that by going out and you know, exposing it to people. So
far, I found
I don't know very much.
Hasn't been taken out. If you search Globalist Denial, you'll find our videos that come up at the top.
I know, but you have to know those keywords to be able to find it.
That's why I'm shouting them from the rooftops. That's why I'm shouting them left, right, and centre to people. As well as Globalist Denial is a big one as well, because we can skirt the keywords that the algorithms are using.
Globalist Denial.
But this is the thing, you know, you got to know what to search for. That's and most people will sort of default to flat Earth. Basically covered that one. So yeah.
Of course.
I think that well, not only that, if we tell someone to research flat Earth, we should also tell people how to research it.
Yeah.
Very important, because people don't know how to research this shit.
Well, that's why Jason set up FE Start, really, was to direct people to known good channels.
In a non-biased fashion. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, hey, have a look at this one. I have literally a list of. I say, you know, watch this, Dave Murphy. The greatest interview. You know, or the biggest live. But that Macedonia interview is perfect. Perfect tool to smack back.
Yeah, it is.
Well, maybe we should. Maybe one of the things we could do, excuse me, is to repost some of some key under different titles. Yes, so we can kind of bypass the flat Earth.
Right, because we're in the war. We're fighting an invisible war.
Yeah.
You know, we've heard of Rick rolling. We should start flat rolling.
Flat rolling. Like that. We're flat out.
That was my thinking when I set up my channel, to be Globali rather than be lost into flat Earth. You know, to different wording so that people maybe find it through that, rather than, because if you put in flat Earth, you just get lost, don't you? You just get lost into it.
Yes. Yeah, man. I've stopped putting. Sometimes I'll make videos and don't even put on it. Don't even tag it flat Earth. I want to get mixed up with all the other nonsense. You know what I mean? So that's how people.
Yeah, and I think what Roxanne was saying earlier. Sorry, Roxanne, about a few people.
No, go on. Just cut out. Go on.
Right. A few of us are now saying, no, we're not flat earthers. We're globalist deniers. We're not believing everything we're told. And I think that's a lot more positive angle to put on it, rather than calling yourself a flat earther.
Well, be proud of who you want to be. You know, I don't deny or flat earther, whatever. It ain't a ball. You know what I mean? And that's the main message.
No, I still like the idea of. Oh.
Go on, sorry.
Sorry, I was just saying, I still like the idea of flat rolling, and just start a video about Justin Bieber or something, and then go straight into 100 proof.
Like the Trojan horse.
Yes.
I love it. I was going to ask you, actually, Dave, is it all right if I grab one of your videos and re-upload it, if that's all right?
Absolutely. All the videos on my site are you know, I don't restrict anybody. Just take it and do what you want with it.
Excellent.
I do it all the time. I do it all.
Because I know Richie Lopez likes to do these. Go on, Richie. I'll let you say. Go on.
Yeah. Twilight Zone. Yeah, I've been started this new thing, the Twilight Zone, and
you used some of Dave's audio, didn't you?
I use Dave audio all the time. His voice comes off really nice. A lot of his audio is really good, so you can actually do a lot with it. It's all about the audio, kind of like here. And the way he just explains stuff is so simple, stupid. You know, you hear him talk about gyroscopes. You know, he called the manufacturer. You know, he checked and said, you know, it's real simple stuff. And once you get used to it, after you see that, you learn so much by other people's research, and don't be afraid to double check stuff. You know, double check stuff. I literally watched when I watched 200 proofs. I literally double-checked everything he said. Everything he said. Everything he said. Everything, because I wanted because I came at it a different way. How I became a flat earther, a globe denier. I try to debunk the flat earth, right? I thought it was silly. That's the problem with this world. People think the world's flat. What the hell's going on? And I was in for a rude awakening. So, come to find out,
we all.
Yeah, very dramatic for me. Very dramatic for me. So I don't know how everybody else dealt it, but it was very dramatic for me. Like, whoa. So that's why I'm so passionate about what I'm doing. I hate being lied to like that. You know what I mean? So, but one thing I want to say this. I mentioned it to D Marvel a few times. Anybody out there that's good with animation and computer programming, I want to get my hands on what it would be really like living on a ball with the magical force gravity. I want to be able to show people, literally, people walking and a force is pulling them on the ground. I really want to have that nonsense. How people, where people got to get ready. Okay, hold on. We're going down the curve. Hold on. You know, we're going down the ball and just experience that. I want to have somebody make that because I want to get out there. I want to really change that, you know, get people to look at, okay, let me tell you what it actually would really look like if you lived on a ball, right? You know what I mean? The horizon wouldn't be flat and level, right? Would it? Right.
It wouldn't.
Bend downward somewhere.
Right? You would see it keep being curved. You would clearly see it being curved. Even if you were to assume any rate of progression at all, with the magnitude of the size of whatever ball it's supposed to be, you would be curved at some point, and you don't.
Well, here's one that living on a ball. Okay, think about this. That's a song, isn't it? If you look, say, east to if you look north to south, wherever you are, you're looking north to south. What you're seeing is the curvature around 25,000 miles of circumference. Yeah. But there are certain directions you can look, and that distance will be less. Yeah. So imagine, imagine the ball, and you slice halfway through at the equator. Yeah, that's 25,000 miles. If you slice a quarter of the way up, that circle is much smaller. Yeah. So think about it. If you live on a ball, there are some directions where you should see a lot of curvature and other directions where you shouldn't see any at all. Right. Are you getting it? I mean, I'm not.
Oh, look.
You would see.
I don't know if go on. You see what I'm looking at here? What you're saying?
Yeah, that's built on
a lot of curvature and then not a lot of curvature here. That's what you're saying, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, when you're standing on a globe, as I said, there's only certain directions which are going to be, that curvature should be over 25,000 miles. Yeah. But there are other directions where that curvature is going to be a lot more. Yeah. So living on a ball, it should be weird because you should look one direction and no curve, and look another. There should be a greater curve.
Absolutely. We should see houses built inside a ball and see them downwards. We should be looking down and looking. It's just absurd. Boats are not even made to go down the ball, let alone up a ball. It's just crazy. But if I can get my hands on that type of animation, if anybody out there that's good with that, Jason, if you know somebody, I know you're good with computers.
Yeah, the only thing I can speak to mind, there's a website that you can go. I'll put it in the chat for you and find it later. It's called Fiverr.com, and it's a great place to go. You can just put in your idea there, and you'll get lots of people because they all want to make money out of it and that. But it's ever so cheap. And you can put your idea there for them, and they'll produce anything that you could possibly be thinking, and they'll do it really cheap for you. I've just put it in the chat, so go back later and have a look on that. It's in the chat now.
Thank you so much, because I definitely want to do that. I really want to show people what it really like living on the ball. Anybody out there hear this? Let me know. Hit Roxanne up. Hit one of us up. Let me know, man, because
I've got questions. Sorry, I keep firing away with the questions, but I've got lots of things I want to ask. I'm going to start from left to right on this time. I'll start with you, Dave. Where do we go from here with the globe denial, globe lie, flat Earth, and what is the way forward from here on in your eyes? What's the way forward from here on in?
Okay, well, my view isn't probably going to be a popular one, because, you know, for me, the way forward is away from flat Earth, because as far as I'm concerned, I know that I'm not on a ball. I know that the Earth is a flat plane and we're not moving. So honestly, I don't need to know anymore. I don't need to know, you know, the mechanics of how the sun is in the air and, you know, mechanics of all. I don't need to know that. Yeah, okay. And on this journey that I've been on, well, a lot of people have been on a similar journey, but what happens is you get stuck in one particular field. You know, you might end up stuck in urine therapy and that's it. And you know, and you just churn around in that area. This is a journey where with lots of stops. Yeah. And I don't think there is a final destination with this journey, but you know, if you end up staying at a stop, you don't complete your journey. So so yeah, once you're completely convinced yourself, then move on. You know, you can still stay around and you know, help others further behind on the journey than you.
Yes.
Great. That's not a, you know, that's not an issue. But really, you don't need to be trying to convince anybody anymore. I mean, you know, there's enough out there now for anybody who wants to find out. It's 6 million videos. There must be more now. So, yeah, there's enough out there.
Well said.
So yes, once you know, there's more to find out. Honestly, so
way more. There's way more. Because a lot more has been told to cover the biggest lie ever told, which is who, what, and where. Yeah,
and a lot of people, you know, have come into the truth through flat Earth. Well, there's a lot more to find out. Yeah, there's a lot more groundwork to do before you actually get the full picture. And flat Earth isn't the full picture. It's telling you it's a big part of the puzzle. But you know, if you don't know about the monetary system, you don't know who's behind all this. You know, you don't know. You know, there's a whole world of information out there. So, yes, flat Earth can be an extraction. Yeah, because once you know, if you're just stuck here in, you know, spinning your wheels in flat Earth, then it's actually taking you away from finding out more about what's going on in this world.
Yeah, well said, Harry. What do you think? Where do you see it going from here with flat Earth, globe lie, and the whole globalist deception?
What Dave was saying there, I understand what Dave was saying, and there's far more to discover there. However, I'm staying firmly with flat Earth and exposing it, and I want to see people accountable. I want to see NASA exposed for the criminal lie that they've bestowed upon me all my life, and all children coming. And so I'm concentrating on that. And the monetary fund and all that, I've been through most of all the other conspiracies before I came to flat Earth. But and I know there's other levels of knowledge beyond flat Earth, like where we came from and the things Dave is talking about. It's all very relevant to me. But before I get there, I want people accountable for this criminal lie that's bestowed on me and lied to me all my life. My parents lived and died believing they lived in this frigging spinning ball of water on it. So I want accountability. I want NASA exposed. I want heads to roll. I'm not bitter, but I just want this out and open, and I want more people to be brought up to speed on the lie that's been told to them. And I want to stop that. And I think for me, activism is the greatest way of exposing that. And I'll keep doing that until it is exposed.
Grassroots.
Yeah, well said. Richard, what do you make of it? What do you see the way forward is for flat Earth and the whole globalist denial?
It's rolling. I literally see it as a snowball that's been pushed off the top of the mountain, and that ball is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's flattening out everything. Literally, we have to keep pushing this envelope till we force feed them. They have to talk about it. They have to talk about it. And then, you know, if you notice, they can't defend the globe.
No, they can't.
The flag right there. They can't defend it. Even some of the smartest people, you got even their puppets. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Can't even tell people what gravity is. This is how stupid, dumbed down people are. Drops a mic. People, it's retarded. It's retarded, gravity. So I think it's going in a good direction. Let's support each other. Let's stay on point. Like me, I hardcore to flat Earth. But on the side, I'm looking at giants. I'm big on archaeology. I mean, that's fascinated by itself about all the lies, what's going on. So I do a lot of, side research. I'm not public on it, but I do the research. But I stick to the flat Earth topic because there's so many people not knowing what's going on. Not knowing what's going on. They really think that their home is a cartoon ball. That's a problem. A CGI cartoon ball. And that's sad. It's really sad. It really hurts me. It really hurts me. The level of deception, what's going on.
Yeah, I agree totally, Richie.
The levels are deep. The levels are so deep. Jason, what do you see the way forward being?
Well, being that I'm still fairly new to flat Earth, to a lot of people here, I kind of I'm comfortable where I am right now, as a teacher, so to say, of flat Earth awakenings for people. I feel I really do hear what you say there, Dave. But I kind of, for me, I've said this many a times to other people. I'm on my own journey. You're on your journey. My journey of flat Earth might not coincide completely 100%, but we still agree. The Earth is flat. We have these common denominators. I did research a little bit of conspiracies, like 9/11 and definitely the Apollo landings and that. But I'm comfortable right now as just exposing and waking others up to flat Earth. And who knows, in 2 or 3 years' time, I might be ready to move on to something further, something more. But right now, I'm happy and comfortable. And I think the way forward for me it's just activism. And I do actually have 100 experiments that I'm dying to get my teeth into soon. But all my experiments all seem to require a few spondoonies.
I do have to say that while I'm saying that for me I've got to move on to other things. We absolutely do need people on the ground pushing this stuff, and if that's your calling and that is your journey, great. But I'm saying that at some point, right, you might want to start moving on to the next thing.
I accept that.
Yeah, but yes, no, I'm not saying everybody should just dump it now and just leave everybody to the videos. No, we absolutely do need people on the ground.
Also, I think about moving forward. I didn't answer that question. When I first started this, I thought things need visual representation to encourage other people. Now there might be somebody out there in Middle America in a lonely farm, not much contact with anybody else, feeling lonely, know the Earth's flat, nobody to speak to. But if they can be inspired by other people from around the world doing things and it's visually documented, I think that's a great inspiration for other people around the world. And when I see what you're doing, Richie, in America and Authentic Intent and everybody else, that's inspiring to me. And I'm awoken to it. So I think that's really inspirational for other people. But I think things have to be documented to inspire other people. And I think documenting every step of the way is the way forward to inspire others.
I found out some new information. I think that the Stone Bridge, I got no evidence of that being cranes and reconstruction, but I was doing some research now how, you know, that it's a lot of evidence showing that those were dinosaur bones, and they couldn't just keep the dinosaur. They're so bedded in the ground, and they're rocks. They fossilize into mud fossils. So, you know, they just covered it up, put some plaster on it, put some stones on top. It's fascinating. You know?
You can't believe what you've been taught. Just
because what you've been taught. And earlier in our conversation, we were talking about the North Pole. People talking about the South Pole, the South Pole. What about the North Pole? They're hiding. Are they hiding continents? You see the evidence of them removing that place off the maps, putting water there or whatever, just not putting snow. You know, what's under the snow that they're putting? You know, what they're hiding. It's all. So there's a lot of aspects of flat Earth that we need to. Hey, they're hiding other lands. You know, or they, you know. I mean, what's going on? Is there other places are there other realms? Right.
When we don't have the truth, yeah. Let's be honest, yeah. None of, even if we had millions in the bank, yeah, go past the 60th parallel without expressive permission. So the fact that we can't even gain access to everywhere that's in our reality, I think that's the biggest smoking gun of all. Can I ask you all one by one, and I won't pick, you can just all decide for yourself who's going to go first. What do you think is the biggest hindrance holding the truth back?
What or who?
You don't have to pick. What and who?
I think, for me, I actually think money at the moment, I think seems to be a lot of creative people with lots of great ideas and exposing this lie, and money seems to be, a lack of money seems to be in the way of all these great ideas. I think money,
and they know that.
Yeah,
designed.
That's just designed that way. Absolutely right. Control. Absolutely right. And if you're an astrophysicist and you put 2 kids in college and you're making $200 grand a year, you come into this information, you're going to run from it because then you know you're not going to be able to sustain. No one wants to go backwards. You know, like if I didn't have a family and I wasn't, you know, with my other half, Lori, I would be doing what D Marvel's doing. I kid you not. I would be doing what Dave's doing. I mean, literally, I wanted to turn into a minimalist. I have so much stuff. And I'm like, I don't even use this stuff. I don't even need it. I haven't bought a pair of sneakers ever since I woke up. Like I bought a right before I woke up. I bought a brand new Durango, brand new, 40 grand. And I woke up, I'm like, God damn, man, I'm stuck in this, you know. So it's like a lot of us have to work, a lot of us gotta pay bills, you know, so just use your time, give the best you got, give whatever you can. Some people are disabled, they can't do much. Just do what you can, man. Whatever you can to contribute, to be a part of, you know, share these videos you see. Go share Dave's video. Share. Go. Let you know. We want people to know who Dave is. You know, most people know who Dave is, but we want to know who Harry. We're gonna go on a tour. We want to try to get money saved up so we can fly Dave to do some seminars over here. Let's keep in contact. Let's figure out what groups we resonate with. And let's move forward. You know, D-Mob got a lot of good ideas coming up. Be looking out for that. You know, I think we're gonna set up a page where we're gonna take the best content creators and say, hey, you know, put them down. We have a page where it's just dedicated to people that we trust, and you know, and make it happen like that. So, you know, keep your eyes open for that. You know,
awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Awesome, guys. What do you think is the main thing holding the truth back?
I personally think it's our own minds. You know, we don't understand, or most people don't understand the enormity of what's going on here. Yeah, the extent of which this system has lied to us, has altered our brains so that we can't even wrap our minds around this thing. Yeah, because when you start waking up to it, as I said this before, you realize that everything is a conspiracy. Your school you went to hasn't been giving you knowledge. It's been taking knowledge away from you, taking your mental faculties away from you, so that you can't wake up to this. Yeah, you still got a TV in your house. That TV is feeding you false reality. Yeah, everything around you is designed. Oh, so I get calls all the time.
All right.
Sorry. Yeah, everything around you is feeding into this false paradigm, this Disneyland world, and it's it's a effort to actually get a muggle to wake up. Yeah, but once you get them over a part of that hurdle, the snowball effect. But as I said, up until that point, that's our biggest obstacle: getting people over that hurdle, so that their own passion and their own inquisitiveness will take over and start that snowball effect.
Yeah,
because we all got into this because we were flat Earth deniers to start with, and then we saw something. We got over that hump, and all of a sudden we were taken away by this amazing passion of, oh wow, what else can I find? And it's like consuming everything you can find about. That was a passion that snowballed. We just got to get people over that hump of incredulity.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta remember, they robbed us. I'm thinking about what's the outside of this place is. Like, I'm thinking two options. Is it a kid with an air farm? Is it, we just in the Most High's pond? In the back of his house, his family? I mean, is a blink of an eye, a lifetime for us? I mean, these are the things that I've been robbed with all my life. Can
I say what I think is out there?
Right.
Well, I think this, where we are now, is a bubble of space and time. That space and time only exists here. Outside of here, well, there is no outside, because that implies space and time. We can't get our heads around that kind of concept, because we're space and time beings here. Okay, but there is no outside, because there is no space and time out there. The Most High exists outside of space and time. Yeah, so to the Most High, this is like a book that's already been written. He can go into any page he wants at the end, goes right to the end. He knows what's in the book because he's already read it. Yeah. But we have to plod through it one page at a time.
Right. Right.
Interesting.
Or we in this enclosed system to protect us from out there. I mean, there's a lot of things I just can't stop thinking about.
You literally never know. Jason, what do you think is holding it back?
Sorry, holding it back?
Yeah, the truth. What do you think is holding it back? What do you think is a hindrance? What do you think is holding it back?
Did you not say money?
Yeah, I did. I said money before.
My bad. Did I go around the wrong way? Harriet, but asked you.
No.
Right, go for it. What do you think is holding it back? What do you think is the biggest hindrance in holding the truth back?
I find it very difficult to say one, because it was three things that I was thinking it was holding us back. The number one was the television, but more in depth, the social mechanisms of control, which is fed through the television, and also the infighting, and as Jason said, the money. I think those three things equally for me are holding it back. Yeah. I think when channels are attacking other channels, you know, they may have strong feelings, but I think it's not helping the movement. I think we should be coming together rather than attacking each other. And we all agree that the Earth is flat, and we've been lied to.
Oh yeah.
Let's expose that and not try to expose each other without any truth.
Yeah.
And,
now,
sorry, and I think we could all do far more if we had more money, but that's hindering. I think we'd be across the Atlantic with each other more. We'd be going to more things and meeting up and organising more events. But money is a hindrance to do.
Yeah, I'd agree 100%. You know, how many people have got loads of disposable income that they can spend on stuff? I don't.
No.
If I did, you would know about it.
I live about within my means and no more.
Yeah, most people have money for a hobby, but further than that, it's hard.
A gym membership, a golf membership.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you all a question, right? And don't like laugh me out of the room or anything, right? Because it's an innocent question. Refusal will not offend. I'm going to start from left to right. Richard, do you think they're hiding more land?
Absolutely. Why not? You know, if they're lying about what this place is, and you know, who knows? You know, I mean, who knows what they're hiding? I believe they are. You know, I think they are.
What have you personally thought about it, though?
I like that word, think.
Yeah, I think it is, absolutely, not believe. I think it is, and I think they are hiding lands. I think they're hiding other stuff that actually is a definitely the smoking gun of why are we here, and you know what's our purpose on life, and what are we supposed to do while we're on this realm. And they may be right, because I heard a lot of people saying that what's out there is not important than what it is, what's going on down here. And understanding that we are connected, we are one. You know, if you think about it, when I woke up to this, I started becoming friends with people I wouldn't normally be friends with. You know, brought us all together. I've got people from Iran, Iraq, you name it, Egypt. I mean, I'm just becoming friends, and now it's like, oh, I'm welcome. Before, I might have would not be because of my biases, because I would been so indoctrinated. Oh, you know. Now I'm like, oh, okay, my brother, my sister, welcome. You know?
From division to openness.
Yeah.
From division and prejudices to
nothing. I've never experienced nothing in life as long as I've been here for 43 years. Nothing like that. Nothing.
Humility and inclusion.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So that's my take on it. Yes, I think they are. I think they're hiding a lot of other stuff. Let's find out. Let's find out together.
Let's find out. Harry, what do you think? Do you think they're hiding extra land?
Yeah, absolutely. That and more to what Richard was alluding to. But there's just so much evidence to suggest that as well. And the fact that we're corralled, we're not allowed to go and venture there, then yes, I think there's more land.
Yeah. Jason, what do you think? Do you think there's more land?
Yeah, and not just more land. I kind of like I have this this thing that I kind of say, you know, in my activism, you know, like when we talk about infinite space, why can't they be infinite lands? Infinite lands to me implies that we don't live in a dome. You know, so if we've got infinite lands, then we must have infinite skies, infinite level going right the way across with
infinite dome.
Yeah, infinite dome.
Well, infinite dome, but then for me,
infinite in the sense of what we can mentally.
Yeah, and I think that's our problem, is that because we're all socially conditioned with this reality that we've been presented. You know, like so it's really difficult for us to get our heads around it. You know, like. We don't even know what to call this extra thing, this extra dimension, what's beyond, well, that's beyond Antarctica, to be honest. You know, we don't even know if that exists. You know, like, well, sorry, I believe something exists. You've seen so-called footage, but I don't know.
So it's a yes from you.
I think so. I think so, yes.
Yeah.
And you said before, Harry, the word think, alluding to what Richard said. Yeah, I think, not believe, I think.
It's a whole different perspective and looking at things.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Roxanne?
I think so. I definitely think so. I think they're hiding a lot more. I think that it's probably, boy, I wouldn't even want to hedge a bet on how much they're hiding from us. Not just land, they're hiding a lot of things from us, I think. What do you think, Dave?
Okay, well, I personally think that there is more land. I go by looking at. I know we can't really trust Admiral Byrd, being a Freemason and stuff, but when you include the footage from Antarctica that shows warm water lakes and mountain tops and things, and that supposedly 1,000-year-old map was discovered in Hawaii, in the Hawaii newspaper, which also happens to have the continent that Admiral Byrd mentioned, sort of prominently there. I believe, right, and I'm going to use believe, right? It's my own personal belief. Sorry.
It's your journey.
Yes, it's my journey. So, and you're in my universe, so you've got. So, yeah, I personally believe that there is more land beyond Antarctica, and then you hit the dome. So it's more of a shallow dome rather than the big one that we're talking about, because that Go Faster rocket that most people have seen, the one that went up really fast and spinning really quickly. Well, it seemed to hit a non-physical barrier. Now, there's a parallel there with the non-physical barrier that seems to be at the bottom of the sea. There's a video of some guy who had one of those mini subs.
Yeah, seen it.
And he went down to the deepest part, and he found that there seemed to be a lake of water under there.
Yeah,
tried to submerge the sub. Yeah, and you see most have seen the video where it says, and it bounced off. Yeah, he couldn't submerge the sub into that. There seemed to be a non-physical barrier there. So we seem to be in this, as I said, this bubble of 3D space and time, and there's a non-physical barrier that prevents us from going into, let's call it, the heaven where the sun and moon are. So we're prevented anywhere near there, and we're prevented from going too far down it as well. And I because the Encyclopedia Americana, after Admiral Byrd came back, says that there's a dome at 13,000 feet over there. Well, you know what? I know it's all circumstantial, but because the Bible seems to believe that cosmology as well, I'm going with that. I think there's more land, and then there's a dome. It's not infinite. There's a dome.
Right. And it could be more land with the dome still there, because we don't know what's in Antarctica.
Yeah, we don't know the extent of the land, so I'm saying it's more of a shallow dome rather than this big thing.
Yes.
Because, as I said, I believe we can only go 75 miles up. We hit that non-physical barrier. It doesn't have to be much more above that. So,
Dave, can I just say, you've seen people been putting up images of maybe more ponds of like Earth lakes. Could they have more domes? Again, I don't like to subscribe to this, because this is the Earth and this is what was created. It doesn't say anything about creating lots and lots and lots and lots of other Earths. They might have their own Bibles. I just throw it out there.
You got me there. You got me there. But
what's going on over there?
As far as I'm concerned, we're in a dome. We're in an enclosed space, so it doesn't matter what's going on anywhere else, because we can't get there.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. Good, absolutely, man. Question everything.
Last one that I had that I wanted to ask for the evening. By all means, you guys can ask any questions as well, and guys in the chat room can ask any questions. but I want to hear from each and one of you personally why the globe lie matters to each and every one of you. I'm going to start with Richard Lopez.
Well,
Why does it matter?
like I said before, I've never felt anything I've done in my life that made me do a complete 360. I always felt that I was a good, balanced, good person.
Mm-hmm.
Now I wake up thriving to be even a better person every day.
Mm.
I haven't even slept yet. I got off of work 7 o'clock this morning. I do my 40 hours in one shot, right? So in 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, I only work 3 days out the whole week.
Well done.
Out of 2 weeks. So I do my 40 hours in one shot. It's a done deal. So, because I'm not subscribing to working every day work. That's nonsense. Once I woken up, I was working 100, 120 hours a week. And, it's still never enough money. And I never was spending home time with the family and do this and that. I'm like, that stopped immediately. So I had to reshape my thoughts, reshape my patterns, because I've totally dedicated my life to waking up others to this deception. And whatever it means it takes. If they want to call me the enemy of the state because all I'm saying is flat and motionless, just like it appears to be, bring it on. You know what I mean? And it's just a learning experience, man. Like just the stuff that I'm looking at, it's all like, if you get to a point where you say, all right, I know everything, well, then, you're hindering yourself, because there's so much stuff that we don't know. And I know sometimes people get complacent and they get kind of like stuck in this little hamster wheel, but there's so much stuff. Like I was telling you earlier, if you haven't checked out Wise Up channels, Roger, he's still a globe head, but he has good research on mud fossils and archaeology. Look into the giants, look into other stuff. I mean, there's so much evidence about this flat Earth. It's just amazing. It's a beautiful journey. I'm glad to be on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Why does it matter to you, Jason? Why does the globe lie matter to you? Why is it so important to you?
I think the same as what Richard just said then. I didn't realize that that I was looking for something. I was kind of wrapped up into various businesses and things, and I was always chasing the better life dream, like for myself, for family, and that. And I think now I feel as though when I hear in the sense that people, like that, you wake up to flat Earth and all that, I feel as though that I really have woken up. I feel like that I was in this days of chasing me bloody arse all the time to try and make ends meet, to try and to get the next venture off, to get the next and hopefully another year time, see like at the end of the tour, be a millionaire next 3 years time, and I was always chasing that dream, and now I just feel so stress free, and I've let it all go, and I feel so much better for it, and I just feel like that now. I feel like it's a calling. I feel as though that I really do make a difference. And for the first time in my life, I feel like I stand for something. I stand for something. I stand for the awakening, for this globe conspiracy. I feel as though that it's a calling.
Well said, Jason. Dave, why is it so important to you? Why does the globe lie matter to you?
Okay, well, 15 years ago, I was a muggle deep in the Matrix, doing all the things everybody else was doing, chasing the money and, living that fake life.
Yeah.
I started, basically around about 2005-ish. I had my midlife crisis, and I started discovering that 9/11 was a lie. And it was like I had been given this huge 10,000 piece puzzle. And somebody had given me 3 puzzle pieces that showed 9/11, and I was on this hunt looking for more puzzle pieces, and on the way I was finding other puzzle pieces that fit into the 9/11 section that I just completed.
Yeah.
And it led off to somewhere else, and so on and so on. And I've been chasing these puzzle pieces for the longest time now. And Flat Earth now is the biggest section, the last huge part of this puzzle that allows me to see the entire picture. And you know, I too have dedicated my life not to Flat Earth, but to helping people with this knowledge. You know, we come into this world without knowing anything about it, and there's no instruction book. You know, there's no, you know, we're left to figure it out on our own. And you know, if there was somebody out there to say, you know, by the way, you know, you're working your ass off to you don't have to do that. You know, it's a trick. You know, then you know, you've helped somebody bypass things. There are people killing themselves over debts.
Literally.
Debts that don't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're people dying because of bullshit. You know,
It's so true.
So you know, there has to be people out here to tell people, no, you don't have to do this. Yeah. One of my friends died recently. His name was Guy Taylor. He was a in the Free Man movement. He died of cancer. And a thought struck me while I was at the funeral, that in the past, in the distant past, yeah, the heroes were well known. Yeah, they were the ones. You know, I know this guy's might be fictional, but Robin Hood, you know, just one popped into my head. Robin Hood, yeah, he, you know, robbing from the rich and all that. He was fighting and all that. Yeah. These days we don't have. You know, who are the heroes? Turns out it's us. We are the ones today standing up against this system. We are the heroes of this age. Yeah. And this is what this means to me. They're heroes to stand up to this. Yeah, people have seen me you know, lose my car, lose my, you know, Mercedes convertible, and they look at me and think I'm a kin idiot for letting my car get taken by the police and stuff. But you know what? More important to me was to stand up to a wrong. Yeah, knowing that this bloody you know, the idea of drivers and insurance and tax and MOT, it's all a lie.
Yeah.
And if people aren't standing up to it, they win. They get away with it. The muggles, you know, just think, oh, that's the way it is, but it's not.
No.
So the world needs people like us to stand for it, you know, stand against this system. And as I said, that's what it means to me. You know, this is the biggest piece that puts the whole thing in perspective. And there has to be heroes. And I'm not saying that I'm a hero or anything, but you know, we are kind of that is our role, to be this modern day hero, where, you know, we can't have swords on our hips, we can't have guns, you know, we can't do what those people in those you know, earlier ages did. So we are the heroes of this age. So that's what it means to me. We have to be those people. That's all.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well said. Harry, have I asked you why is it so important to you? Why does it matter?
Well, when I came across Flat Earth, initially I was quite angry that I'd been lied to, quite angry that they're lying to the children. So I wanted to take a stand, and I wanted to, in some small way, affect social change. and to expose the lie. And I just felt angry that they take advantage of children's naivety and respect for authority at such a young age, and brainwash that young innocent mind into believing they live on a magical spinning ball of water around it, and then finding out who profits from that and how much NASA make out of that lie. And I just thought I felt just compelled, and like Richie was saying, just devoted my life to that, because I think it needs exposed. It's wrong. It's a criminal act, and people should not have their critical thinking and their own senses diminished or suppressed, and should develop that and question what they've been told and expose the lie, because I think it's almost like child abuse, because they've been told they live somewhere where they're not.
Right. Well said.
And adult abuse.
Yeah.
Evil system. I think it's going to come down to evil versus good, man. Good versus evil. Yeah.
It always has.
Yes. Because you know what, people are taking their time to waking up, but people say, oh, they're this religion and that religion. I think they're going to, when it comes down to the time, they're going to put that to the side and say, is this person represents evil or this person represents good? And we're in a war. We're in a visible war. They're putting stuff in our water. They're putting stuff in our food. The food deception is another big deception, because your time will be limited if you don't understand about the food deception. If you think that eating dead flesh gives you any nutritional value, you are delusional. Right? If you
in fact, eating anything giving you sorry.
Right. There's no nutritional value to it. You could just cut out the middleman and eat what the animals that you kill eat. I heard this from someone earlier. If we stop killing animals, we'll stop killing each other. Okay? Because that's where killing comes from, killing animals. Killing animals. You don't see vegetarians and vegans at war with each other, do you? This is deep, man. This is deep. This is really deep. You're going to get clogged arteries. It's the reason why people are dying at a rate. The common person does not know how many people are dropping dead from cardiac arrest because they got clogged arteries. Okay? Now, it's real simple. It's not hard, complicated. You don't even got to be smart. If you don't eat animal products, you won't get erectile dysfunction, dementia, clogged arteries. You won't get mucus. Mucus, if the dairy builds mucus. A lot of people don't know. Some of you guys know. I was in 9/11. Okay, I was in 9/11. Right. I was one of the responders for 9/11, and that's what woke me up to this, because I was like, oh shit, they got freezers down there that we were putting the bodies in, already in place. So wait a minute, red flag. Why are there freezers? I have to walk through the rubble to get to the freezers that was already there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know that. The common person don't know about those freezers. They don't know about that. So it's real, man. We're dealing with if we have our government is willing to do that type of evil on us. Hey, man. I don't know if you guys know about fluoride. I'm gonna have materials that eats concrete. That pours through concrete. So
please do clue the chat room up on that one if you know a little piece about some health benefits that can maybe help daily lives.
I learned a lot from Dave. I'll give it over to Dave.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'll say, Richie, I didn't know that you were a firefighter. I was a volunteer firefighter in New Jersey.
You told me. Remember you sent me the picture?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry.
Yes, we talk.
Yes, I forgot. Yes. What was the question, Roxanne?
The question was, what was the question? What did I just ask?
It's about health or something.
Yes, health. Could we help the chat room and anyone who's listening with, some, like we were just saying with the fluoride, the lack of fluoride, the health benefits to that, and watching what we're putting into our bodies, because what we're putting into our bodies is for not for a better word, poison.
Okay, well, I'll go one better than that. I'll give you the 4 things that you need to do to heal yourself of anything in this world. Okay, 4 things. It comes down to 4 things. It's first, number 1 is stop poisoning yourself. Okay, so the very best diet you can eat is all fruit. That's it. Sounds crazy, but you know, if fruit is the least damaging thing you can put in your body. It's mostly water, and the physical stuff that you do ingest is easy or relatively easy for the body to get rid of without expending energy. Number 2 is to get rid of the poison that's already in you. Okay, and there are 2 things you can use to do that. Is one of them is distilled water literally latches on to inorganic minerals that you know, ironically, most people put those inorganic minerals into them using water. Yeah, because mineral water, spring water, bottled water, tap water has all got dissolved inorganic minerals. Right, you're made up of organic minerals. Inorganic is essentially the same, but you know, without is that doesn't. Okay, so the calcium in your bones is not the same as chalk. Right, same chemical, but different type, different qualities. Distilled water latches onto inorganic minerals, holds them in the water, and then washes them out of you. And you know that because you wash the water, the dirt, the inorganic minerals come out of the clothes and stays in the water, doesn't go back in the clothes. So distilled water is one. The second one is urine therapy. Everyone, most people who haven't heard of it, you know, will have a bit of a reaction against it, but urine therapy is one of the most amazing substances on earth. It's completely sterile, so that tells you it's not dirty or disgusting. It's sterile. Doesn't matter what it might taste like. Yeah, it is literally the response to whatever's going on in your body. And one of the things it does is literally stimulate your body to dump toxins. So between distilled water and urine therapy, it will literally take all the toxins out of your body. Number 3 is to give your body the energy it needs to repair itself. And you do that using fasting, because when you eat food, it takes something like 80% of your body's energy to digest food. So, you know, get rid of it, essentially. Food doesn't actually give you energy. It literally robs your body of energy.
And Dave, can you tell people what's a good time for how long to fast for?
Well, I'll just actually come into that. So yes, where was I? Yes, so it doesn't give you energy. Food takes the energy away, and you know that because if you overeat at Christmas, okay, you know, you're not bursting with energy and wanting to run a marathon. You're kind of lying there going, oh, I can't move. You know, because now when you've overeaten, your body's taking 90% of its energy to digest it. So I usually get people to 2 days out of the week. So choose any 2 days, Monday and a Thursday or something. And on those days, no eating, just, you know, drinking urine and distilled water. So yeah, when you're not eating food, the body uses that energy that it would use to digest, yeah, to do repair work. So yeah, by fasting, it literally gives your body energy to heal itself. And the fourth and final thing is to change the way you think, because all disease starts in the mind. Starts off with mental patterns and emotion, and all of them is a mix of chemicals that you know, we feel as an emotion, and those chemicals are supposed to be an emergency response, and you know, they cause all sorts of effects in the body to deal with the mental pattern that you're thinking of. Okay, so an example is fear. Yeah, fear. If you suddenly get afraid of something, well, all these chemicals will run through your body, like adrenaline and you know, all these hormones, and the physiological effects are, for instance, all the blood will be drawn away from your core into your limbs, so you're ready to, you know, your higher brain functions will shut down because you know, because you're in a situation of fear. Well, you need to react quickly rather than think about it. So literally shuts your higher brain functions down, which is why if you've ever gone into an exam, you know, with fear, you can't think. Yeah, you literally can't think because you're in fear and your higher brain functions are shut down. You literally look at the paper and it's a blank sheet and it's like, oh, what do I do? Yeah, so it also shuts down your immune system. It does all sorts of other things just to get you ready to deal with the situation. But we're in chronic states of emotion, chronic thought patterns that literally set us up for particular diseases. So usually, if you're dealing with grief, then your lungs are going to be affected. If you're dealing with anger, then your liver is going to be affected, and so on and so on and so on. So you've really got to deal with these thought patterns, and I help people with that by getting them to listen to their self-talk and essentially realizing what that self-talk is and overwriting it with essentially an adult viewpoint. But I'd go into much more detail, but that's a much longer conversation.
Oh, cool. What about any of you guys? What priorities do you see that also encompass what we've been talking about this evening with regards to you yourself in being how you live now that you're awake? You know, health, wealth, all of that.
I think it's all about being informed and making better choices. And I think there's so much information out there today that I don't think there's any reason for ignorance in what you're putting in your body. And you know, a lot of people are reading food labels, and there's so much information there on the internet. But a side issue to that, I find it quite interesting when I watch people reading labels in a supermarket, but then they never read the labels on a vaccine, and they just take that with total faith that it's going to be good for the children. So it's about, I think, being informed and making better choices in their way.
When you're awakening to the food deception, you will find yourself reading everything. What's the ingredients? What's this? What's that? Okay, everything. You say, I don't want to know nothing with eggs. I don't want nothing. Yeah. You start being more. You start doing things you normally don't do. I'm concerned. If food is the medicine for our bodies, well, I gotta watch. If Dave's telling me that his piss tastes like coconut water, right? You know, hey, I may not be drinking piss, but let me tell you something. I tried what he said. If you take your own urine, put it on a cut or a bruise, it literally heals like magic. It literally heals. It heals. They don't want you to know that. They don't want you, because they want you to go to the doctor, right? So they can, you know, when literally you could just pour your own urine and it heals. I thought he was bugging out. I tried it, you know. I'm not drinking the urine yet because I'm still a vegan. But I still eat I still eat processed vegan fruits. And so my goal is to become, it's a process, to become a fruitarian. I know Dave said that. He went straight to the expert level. But I've made changes in my life, you know. I stopped drinking soda 4 years ago. I stopped smoking cigarettes 3 years ago. So everything came into, you know, I've been a vegan for about going on 2 years now. You know, just a little, you know, just about under shy of 2 years, and it's been a process. We've learned dishes. I've made dishes for my culinary. There's so many things to eat.
Yeah.
And you're going to save hundreds of dollars a month on sacrifice animals that they're putting steroids and God knows what else in their food.
Yeah, can I just say one thing?
Absolutely. Go ahead, please.
Just to say something that that will bring doctors into perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. What happens if you doctor a document? You falsify it.
Yes.
What happens when you doctor food? You poison it.
Poison it. You changed it.
So what do you think a doctor is? Somebody who falsifies and poisons.
Oh, wow.
There's another way of looking at it.
It's sickening. I go into hospitals. I bring patients. You know what they're giving the hospitals? They're the most sleep people. It's nothing but evil. They're giving them food. They're giving them. These doctors are not even trained on nutrition. They got special doctors that do that. I forgot what they call. It's special doctors.
A dietitian or something like that.
No organic food, no proper fluids, no sunlight, no exercise. It's any wonder you get sicker when you're in a hospital.
Yeah, so many problems. And you could correct so many problems just by understanding that food is your medicine.
Food is your medicine, and medicine is your food.
Absolutely. 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 It makes sense. You got to just think. And you try it. Try it for 2 weeks. You're going to feel better.
Yeah.
The whole diet, the multi-billion, it's all fraud. Going to the gym, it's all fraud. These people are in business. It's all fraud. I go to Planet Fitness, LA Fitness. You see these 30-year-olds, perfect. They look good on the outside. Cardiac arrest, chest pains, because they look good on the outside, but they're dying on the inside. You understand what I'm saying? This is serious. I'm my doctor from telling, oh wow, you lost so much weight, you look good. I'm like, yeah, I'm vegan. You understand that? Right. Yeah, right. I don't eat animal products anymore. And I didn't come a vegan because of animals. I came because I found the deception of food. The plus is I'm not sacrificing any animal. Just because you don't kill that animal and you let the butcher kill it or somebody else, it's still a sacrifice, man. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Yeah,
it's a sacrifice. You're participating in a sacrifice. You're taking dead carcass, dead flesh, which has no nutritional value, okay? And you're eating it. The only reason why, because your parents, their parents, you've been taught something, just like the globe. And it just keeps on going. You're just following what you was taught how to do. Well, what we're telling you is that's not the case. That's not the case. I'm surviving, thriving, feeling great. I see better, hear better, much more energy. I don't get acid reflux no more. I don't get none of that stuff because I stopped eating animal products. And let me tell you something. If you're just looking into this and just starting to do it, start with the dairy first. I'm talking about cheese. No one loves cheese. I smoke cheese. I had to stop all that. So the dairy is horrible. Stop that. Start there first. Take baby steps. It's okay. Baby steps. Then go. Get out of the meats. This whole red meat. You got people so brainwashed. Oh, well, I don't eat red meat. I just eat white meat. It's just illusion. It's just so deceiving. And the information, like Harry said, it's out there. The information is out there. It's just this ain't hard. So I know, but you know what? And it does relate to flat Earth. Because you can't be around talking about the flat Earth or figuring out what's going to happen if you're not taking care of yourself.
Well, that's what brings me on to my wrap-up question. But before I do my wrap-up question, I want to yield the floor to everybody. So I want to give everybody an opportunity to kind of say their final piece. So I'm going to start off with Jason on that one. I want you to give your final something to everybody.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think we're all doing, you know, like pretty amazing work at the moment. All of us collectively. I see a lot of channels all coming together now. This is what we were meant to do at the beginning of this year, but it started off at the beginning of this year with such a lot of in-house fighting between so many different channels and that. And oh God, how did it ever get to that? You know, like, because that's what the bastards, the system wants. They want. You know, I never knew what a shill was or anything like that. But if you believe in the notion of shills, was it getting into flat Earth and that? Then if they are, they're causing all this division and that, and it was just not necessary. And you know, like, so I feel like they were just starting to come out of the dark ages of flat Earth. You know, like, and now we're starting to talk to each other. We're starting to open up to each other, and we are. It's the way forward now. Is activism. We still need plenty of experiments, because I know some people are happy with the simple experiments. For me, I was a bit more. I was into the technical side of things. You know, I wanted to know a little bit more. I wanted to know what relativity was. I wanted to know what speed of light and things. And you know, like I wanted to know all of this. And you know, and is it real? Is it rubbish? You know, like, so. I kind of feel like we're on the right track now. You know, we've got certain channels that are doing the experiments. We've got certain channels that are doing these hangouts. We've got certain channels that are doing the flat Earth activism. And I think that everybody's just doing their part, and let them be doing their part. You know, like, that's fine. We don't all have to be shooting each other down and saying they should be doing this and they should be doing that and that. We're all doing our part equally, and we're all coming together in a unified way. It's brilliant. We're moving forward in the right way.
Awesome. Harry, do you have something you want to wrap up with?
No, I just would agree with everything Jason just said there. And for me personally, I just like to see people come together, working together, and this movement growing. It's not going to grow if we're all going to be divided and infighting. But, you know, if we're all supporting each other, and if there's shells amongst it, well, so what? You know, if they're going to take people down another rabbit hole, that's up to people to decide to follow that. We should be telling people who to follow, who not to follow. But for me, it's all about coming together and seeing the movement grow. And the hangout tonight has been excellent, because it's helped us connect across the Atlantic and help propel that further forward. So more of the same for me.
Excellently said. Dave, what about you?
Yeah, I
was going to add as well. Are you going to the convention as well over the pond?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, cool. Could you let everyone know about that as well, if you're able to?
Sure. I don't remember too much about it at the moment. Yeah, all I can say really is, yeah, me and Connor, Red Flag Media over there. It's November. I guess it's November. I can't remember the date in November, but yeah, and in Denver, Colorado.
Nice.
Which is a strange choice, you know, given what Denver Airport is like. Don't know if anybody knows about that, but very satanic place. But yes, so it's going to be in Denver in November, and I'm quite looking forward to it because of really only meeting some of the faces that I've come to feel like I know already. Yes, so all I can say really about this is really what I've just said before about you know, the fact that in this day and age we are the heroes, those people who are standing up, and we need more of us. So just keep doing what you're doing, everyone, and there'll be more people joining our ranks. There is more than the flat Earth. You know, the flat Earth should be the thing that gets you to see the big picture.
Yeah.
And the picture is much bigger than most could even imagine. Because as I kind of mentioned before, there is more of a conspiracy to who you are, and you know, for a lot of people, you might not like the truth that you find out. So yes, keep pushing and realize there is a bigger picture out there. That's it.
Can I just ask one question, Dave? Will we be seeing you on the tour at some point?
Well, I looked at the tour stops. The only one I could think I'd get anywhere near is London. Right. So I think that's November 3rd, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, we'd love to see you there then.
Yeah. I'll endeavour to be there for that one. If you let me know where it is.
Yeah, we confirm it. Everyone will be the first to know.
Okay. Cool.
Awesome. Richard, do you want to say something, darling, where you're at with this and how you'd like to end this evening?
Well, I think this is a great hangout. I've seen a lot of hangouts. This is a great hangout. Thank you, Roxanne, what you're doing. Thank you, everybody on the panel, for doing what you do. We need to keep doing that. Lead by example. Lead by example. You know, and that's what we got to do. If people are waking up and they're waking up and they're like, oh, okay, and they see us fighting and blah 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 blah, talk about nonsense. Yes, it's just gonna be like, oh no, they're not gonna, they're gonna take longer to wake up because they're like, these idiots, I thought they're supposed to be woke, you know. So let's go, flat Earth unity. We don't gotta agree with everybody. We don't look. We talked about some serious topics up here.
Yeah.
Now,
I think. Sorry, Richard. Yeah.
I mean, typically, normally, we wouldn't be talking about stuff like this. But we're able to, and we should be able to have an adult conversation and be able to share different views or different things, even if we don't agree with it, because there may be something that we can learn and take from it.
Yeah, respecting difference. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's right, because I think I've just unsubscribed to one or two of you. What?
What you like? These kind of hangouts are the kind of hangouts I'd love to do more of, a bit more broader conversation, maybe a bit more progressive and trying to be helpful to the chat room and helpful to other viewers that are watching it live and on playback, and trying to get a different mix of people all talking together. I think it will give other people the confidence to do the same thing. Once upon a time, I was a content viewer, and now I'm a content maker, having public discussions with people all across the international flat plane about the biggest lie of all and other lies that go with it. So I think there's a lot to be said for that.
Sorry, I just want to add that about the what we call shills, but the word shill isn't the right word actually, but the agents, there are agents among us. Yes. But you might have noticed I don't get involved at all with he said, she said stuff, because at the end of the day, there's a well-worn through how they work. 80% truth, 20% bullshit. Okay, it's the way that it has to be, because we detect lies, so they have to wrap those lies in lots and lots of truth. So at the end of the day, they're giving us truth. I'll just take the truth, leave the bullshit. Doesn't matter if who it's coming from. Use your intuition, your discernment to pick out the bones and leave the rest. You don't have to argue with them. You don't have to attack them. You don't have to do anything. You just take what you need and walk away. But don't be fooled into believing that there aren't any agents in this, because what I'm seeing happening amongst the flat earthers, I saw happening in the free man movement. Same thing.
Okay. Speaking from experience, what would you guys have to say about that?
Well, yeah, I don't get involved in that at all myself, and I don't respect people who do firing stones and bullets without any proofs. I think it's it's a waste of energy, and it's divisive, and it's trying to control a narrative about other people. I think all that energy could be used up to trying to propel the movement forward and exposing the lie. I mean, I just think it's just so destructive.
General consensus is steer clear of the drama.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Dave was saying,
no drama. Keep it over there. I don't want to deal with it. I run from it.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't want to convince the neutral viewer to say, "Oh, watch out for him," or "Watch out for him." I don't want to control the narrative like that.
Yeah,
it's up to every individual to.
That's right. Stop fearing it and just move through it. Just keep going through. You know, like you're quite right. You know, like we don't need to control the narrative on who said you know what, and just stop fearing what like people are going to do to this movement and all that, and just carry on. As long as we keep going forward, let's have our blinkers on, and we'll keep going forward.
Exactly.
Well said. Well, on that note, I'm going to wrap it up for this evening. I'm going to be live again tomorrow evening and live again the evening after. And then the boys are going to, we're going to get them to do a exclusive live hangout for people that have donated. You'll be able to see a live hangout exclusively from the tour bus on Wednesday evening. Time to be confirmed. We'll let you know closer to the time, but I'll be going live tomorrow as well, probably about the same time, about 8 p.m. GMT, with anyone who'd like to join me. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Massive love to the chat room. I'm going to try and do better to keep up with the chat room next time, because I'm trying to stay involved with the conversation, but trying to go back and forth in the chat room as well. So once again, thank you to every single one of you that's on the panel with me this evening for taking the time out to be involved in this conversation. And likewise to everyone that's viewed. Thanks for tuning in and being with us and being involved in this conversation in whichever way you have been. Also, thanks to everyone that's donated. And again, just massive love and respect to you all, and I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for viewing.
Richard.